What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire, all right? I mean, it's as simple as that. Spread it across the internet and throughout the world. And before I say that, I want to remind everybody this is episode number 615, episode number 615. And once again, let everybody you know across the internet and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And once again, I love being independent now. That's right, folks. Type this in your damn browser, add it to your bookmarks, add it to your favorites. The following, ghost.report. All right? It's as simple as that. Ghost.report. That's all you got to type in your browser, and make sure to add it to your bookmarks, add it to your favorites. And before I say anything else, I want to remind everybody to please follow me on my only social media representation on the internet today, and that's on Gab, folks. And if you don't have yourself a Gab account, well then, by God, I don't know what the hell you're doing. It is the last bastion of freedom of speech and social media today. Go ahead and get yourself a free Gab account, folks. All right, it's better than Twitter. I like it. All right, go ahead and take a look at it. And by the way, follow me under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. That's my Gab, baby. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. And once again, I want to say what's going on to everybody who's in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. What's going on, baby? We are live. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And once again, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, all you've got to do is the following, okay? Go ahead and check out my Gab. Look at my Gab. All right, Politics Ghost. And once you're there, click the subscribe button for premium content, all right? Click the subscribe button for premium content. And once you do, folks, once you do that, just private message me on Gab. And let me know your Discord chat name, because that's where the True Capitalist Radio chat room is on Discord. And I will private message you back your own personal invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. Now, before we get into anything else, I want to say what's going on to everybody who's in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. What's going on, baby? All right, I know it's a Monday. And let me tell you, it's a bad Monday over here in San Ambonio. And we're going to talk about what's going on the East Coast here in a few. But once again, it's raining. It's been raining all weekend. A little bit of a melancholy, but I like a little bit of rain. You know, it's not thunderstorms. It's the melodic sounds of the rain. I really do like it. I really do appreciate it. I kind of needed it, to say the least. Anyway, enough banter. Let's give some shout-outs to those that are in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. What's going on to Pet Mexican? He's in the house. What's going on to the Tesla Cyberheart? He's in the place. Stagio in the house. Metaform. What up, Metaform? We got Ice Cap. What's going on, Ice Cap? How you doing, man? Herb Capitalist. Hans Uberlander. Great Gains in the house. What's going on to Distilling? He's in the place. Capitalist America. Australian Capitalist Aesthetic in the house. How are you all doing? And everybody else who happens to be listening but not in the VChat area, what's going on to you, folks? I hope that you're listening. I hope that you're having a decent Monday. I hope you had a decent weekend. I mean, I had a decent weekend, to say the least. I consumed some alcoholic beverages. But once again, we are not doing that on a daily basis anymore. So at least, we're sticking to the weekends now, all right? I like to celebrate the weekends with a little bit of, Grandpa's old cough medicine. Now, before I get into the cryptocurrency and the stock component of the broadcast, I want to talk a little bit about the up-and-coming situation that's going to happen here in the East Coast. Now, there is a hurricane right now brewing in the Atlantic, and it is heading right towards the East Coast. Now, no one knows for certain where it's going to be hitting. There's a big, huge cone of uncertainty is what a lot of the meteorologists like to call it. So it could hit anywhere on the East Coast from the upper region of Florida going as high into, the lower part of New England. So the reason that this makes this such a unique situation is because right now it's in the middle of Atlantic, and it's got about an estimated 140 mile per hour winds. We're talking already a Category 4, and it is brewing in the Atlantic. Now, the reason I want to bring this up, folks, is because I want to tell everybody who's out there that is thinking about staying or thinking about doing something crazy or anything of that capacity, what I'm trying to tell you all to do is keep your eyes on the weather. Make sure that you have a radar's view of what the hell is happening and brewing of this hurricane. Hurricane Florence is what I'm talking about, because if you take a look at the Atlantic, there's about 3 or 4 different little systems brewing, to say the least. One of them could be hitting Texas somewhere in the weekend or next week's time. So, once again, we got a very active hurricane season, to say the least. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm calling on all capitalists to do the right thing. Now, I know there's a lot of bravado in wanting to stick around and wanting to show everybody that you're not afraid, etc., etc., but it's better to be safe than sorry, folks, especially if you are a capitalist. Now, as you monitor the weather, if you see that the eye of that storm is going to go head on with wherever the hell you are at, I strongly advise you to take whatever you've got. Obviously, all the paperwork that you need to identify who you are, your credit cards, your account numbers, insurance policies, everything possible, so that you could probably go west, all right, as west as you could possibly go. And once you do, folks, find yourself some comfortable locale, whether it's an Airbnb, a hotel, whatever the case might be. And this is one of those unexpected burdens, those acts of God that everybody has to have money saved up for, because you don't want to risk your family. You don't want to risk your safety. Look, folks, if you're a renter, who gives a shit what happens to wherever the hell your home is, all right? So long as you've got the most important things and you've got at least renter's insurance, you should be just fine. That's why insurance, it's somewhat of a necessity. Now, remember, these insurance agencies, they like to not pay in these circumstances because they're getting hit up by millions of people. So always make sure that you're up to date. Remember, you can be up to date right up until the actual goddamn hurricane, and make sure you have flood insurance. All right? Make sure you have wind damage insurance. Make sure you have all these little nuances, folks, so that even though you may or your property may be damaged because of this act of God, you can not only be compensated, but keep your family safe. Keep yourself safe if you don't have family. Go out there and just make sure to have all your intricate paperwork, credit cards, identification, social security numbers, birth certificates, etc. And the reason I say this, folks, is I want all capitalists to stay safe. We don't need acts of God to put capitalists into precarious situations and potentially have you die or no longer be with us, because we need as many capitalists as we can on this earth. As you can see, with the amount of mass, dumb, ridiculous ignorance that seems to be infecting the minds in a contagion-like capacity throughout Western civilization, we need to have as many capitalists on this earth as possible. You understand? And that's why I'm advising each and every one of you that are listening within the sound of my voice, please do not be, machismo is what those Mexicans like to call it. Don't have a lot of chutzpah, what the Jews like to call it. Just, hey, think of this like an impromptu vacation. Monitor the situation. Now, if the actual eye of the storm is not going to hit you directly, well, then it's up to you to make that judgment call. It's up to you. But keep yourself safe, keep your family safe. Every capitalist out there, I'm praying for you, because this is, in my opinion, unprecedented to the East Coast. I mean, if it's already a Category 4 with 140-mile-per-hour winds in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, just imagine as it approaches landfall, and I can only imagine what's going to happen to wherever that eye lands in that cone of uncertainty, man. So once again, man, please keep yourself safe. We want as many capitalists to save themselves as possible, and we don't want anything to happen to you guys, man, all right? So I just want to go ahead and end it at that. From what I understand, the eye of the storm is not going to hit the East Coast till about Thursday or Friday. But by that time, you guys probably won't hear me. You'll probably be under some flash floods, high winds, potential electrical grid knockouts, etc. So I'd like for you all just to keep that in mind. And head west, baby, all right? Head west. If you've got room on your credit card, head west and try to stay there, man, all right? All right, now that we got that all out of the way, let's just go ahead and go right into the cryptocurrency component of the broadcast, because I know everybody's wondering, what the hell is happening, Ghost? Once again, we're having another goddamn contraction. What's happening? Well, folks, the Goldman Sachs fake news, you know, the big FUD that basically caused this contraction. Y'all remember the fact that there was news circulating across all mainstream business media that Goldman Sachs was going to pull out of cryptocurrency investing. That's what started this humongous contraction. Now, what's keeping it going? What's keeping it going, first of all, is you got, once again, an immature investment community, mostly comprised with a bunch of neckbeards, four-eyed, freckle-faced, beaten stepchildren, and nerds and dorks. They don't understand what investing really truly means. And what have I always told you on this broadcast? That long-term investment reigns supreme. And that's what I've been telling everybody up to this point, man. All right? I mean, you don't lose money until you sell. You understand that? Well, Ghost, I mean, I've already lost money, dude, and I don't know what to do. I got to sell. I don't know what to do. You idiot. You have to understand. All right, if you have to wait a little bit for your money, then that's what you have to do. But think of it like this. I tell everybody that gets all scared and all, oh my God, I don't know what to do, Ghost. Oh my God, it's going down. It's going red. I don't know what's going on. You need to calm your ass down and keep your holdings. Sit and wait, all right? Because you have a lot of uncertainty that's going to happen that's going to cause the market to react. You should not react. Even if you do get out and actually gain some liquidity, what do you do when you go buy back into the market once it goes back up? You end up buying less coin for more money going back into the damn market than you do actually selling off during the contraction and waiting for it to come back up. So just keep it in there. And remember, you as a capitalist, you're building a portfolio. And what does that mean, folks? That means that you can be like these big badass, you know, oh yes, I've got my suit and tie, and what does your portfolio look like? Well, my portfolio is definitely heavily deep in metals and oil. What is yours? Well, I'm actually going into the new technology of cryptocurrency, and it has been very profitable in the double to triple digit percentage increases. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Do you understand? I mean, you have a portfolio. That means you've got a net worth. You can put that on some kind of a banking or credit card application, man. Do you understand that? It's like the equivalent of holding some kind of asset. That's what cryptocurrency is. That's what stocks are. That's what property is. That's what metals are. These are assets that when you hold them and you need money on a rainy day, you can liquidate these things, hopefully for a profit. But God forbid you're one of these folks out there on the East Coast that doesn't have some money, some odd dollars saved up, and you know that eye of the storm is coming at you, and you got to sell off. Well, at least you've got assets that you can sell off. At least you've got assets that you could sell off. Good God, man. Do not sell, unless you know that you're in a fucking, excuse my French, a complete ripoff, a complete scam, then don't sell off. You're just going to shoot yourself in the foot, and you're going to hate yourself when the damn thing goes up. And you know what you're going to say? You're going to say what I've said many times and what many other very seasoned investors have said to themselves. God damn it, if I'd have just stayed in there and stopped being so fucking greedy. So take it from investors, man, all right? Long-term investment reigns supreme. Patience is very much rewarded in the markets. Just ask Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has made billions exclusively on long-term investment. I mean, he makes sure to get into something for at least a minimum of 10 years. So I'm just telling you guys, man, come on, stop being a bunch of goddamn immature, impatient, impulsive, petulant jerks out here, all right? It's a market, all right? Good God. Now, aside from the Goldman Sachs fake news that caused the contraction last week, which, of course, was the news circulated by all the business media that Goldman Sachs was getting out of crypto investing, that was complete fake news. Of course, the fact that Goldman Sachs is not pulling out of cryptocurrency, you don't hear that anymore. You don't hear that from the goddamn business media, the mainstream business media that perpetuated this FUD. You don't hear that, right? There's a purpose for that. Do you understand? I mean, why in the hell would Wall Street want to get into the cryptocurrency market at the very high prices when they know how to manipulate markets? They know that news moves the markets. And because the cryptocurrency market is not regulated, they can manipulate the cryptocurrency markets into these current contractions so they can just come in and just start buying up, baby. Just start buying up. And then as the market capitalization, because folks, this market cap of the cumulative cryptocurrency market isn't shit. All right? It isn't shit. I mean, this is a scratch on the fucking surface. I hate to keep saying that, man, but it is. It is. You know that barely 2% of Wall Street investors, 2%, barely 2% of Wall Street investors even know what the hell cryptocurrency is, let alone are investing in it. So once again, folks, I'm just trying to say long-term investment reigns supreme. Whether you're investing in crypto, whether you're investing in stocks, whether you're investing in classic cars, old guns, artwork, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. I mean, let me give you a case in point, all right? Let's say you're a big fucking Andy Warhol fan, right? And you were lucky enough to have enough money in the 80s, because there was a lot of money in the 80s, and you're one of these big shots that made all kinds of millions of dollars, and you were able to get an Andy Warhol piece, even though I think he's a shit artist, but let's just say for the sake of argument that you got one, and people thought you were nuts because you paid, let's say, $800,000 for the art piece back in 1982. All right? Do you know that if you would have just kept that on your wall, in your goddamn home, in your office, and then realized here about a couple of years ago that Andy Warhol paintings are now going for 20, 25, 30 million a piece? Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, long-term investment reigns supreme. Remember that. I can't emphasize that anymore. I mean, every time I say it, people roll their eyes to the back of their head. And you want to know why? Because you're a bunch of young noobs that think you know what the fuck's happening. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to get slapped in the face with reality that you're not a hot shot, that you just took advantage of a bull market, and you need to think as an investor beyond the bull market. Jeez. Anyway, listen, before I continue bantering on, let's talk about cryptocurrency. Then we're going to go into stocks, commodities, etc. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency right now. Total market capitalization is $195 billion. So a long way from where we were at about, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, week and a half ago? We were at about $240 billion cumulative market cap. Right now we're at $195 billion. Now, like I said, aside from the Goldman Sachs fake news, what else is making the market a little funny in the pants? Well, There's news going around that the SEC has prohibited trading on 2 ETFs. Have y'all heard about this? Well, I want to tell you folks that this is also fake fucking news. Now, let me explain to you why. Now, the Security Exchange Commission is prohibiting trading on 2 crypto financial investments. The problem is that they're not ETFs, okay? Now, the 2 financial instruments in question that are being called ETFs on every goddamn cryptocurrency media outlet's headline is Bitcoin Tracker 1 and Ether Tracker 1. Both are listed on the NASDAQ/OMX exchange. Okay, once again, they're listed on the NASDAQ/OMX exchange. Now, they're based out of Stockholm. This is not even a United States financial instrument. This is out of Sweden. Now, Bitcoin Tracker 1 and Ether Tracker 1, they were listed on the NASDAQ/OMX exchange by a Swedish company called XBT Provider AB, which is a company owned by CoinShares. Now, XBT Provider AB, which is a company owned by CoinShares, which put Bitcoin Tracker 1, Ether Tracker 1 on the exchange, they tried to put it up not as an ETF, folks. They tried to label it as something called non-equity linked securities. Non-equity linked securities. So once again, folks, this is not an ETF, which is an exchange-traded fund. This is not even an American ETF. But if you take a look at the headlines of all the cryptocurrency market media out here, they're saying SEC strikes down ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs. They are not ETFs. Now, why are the media saying they're ETFs? Because the SEC is prohibiting American investors from investing in these instruments, Bitcoin Tracker 1 and Ether Tracker 1, because the investment community in America is perceiving these instruments as ETFs. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why the Security Exchange Commission is cracking down on these financial instruments that are traded on the NASDAQ/OMX exchange. These are not exchange-traded funds, even though the goddamn cryptocurrency media wants you to believe it. Once again, these are called non-equity linked securities, but because you have a market which is not well defined at this point, interpreting these financial instruments as ETFs, the SEC has prohibited Americans and American investors trading in these entities. Now that you know the real news, you have every, once again, neckbeard, freckle-face-beaten stepchild, nerd, dork that's in the cryptocurrency market reading the headline of this saying, oh my God, it's over. I mean, the ETFs are gone. They're not, SEC's not going to be hooking up with ETFs anymore. Oh my God, that is bullshit. All right, we still have ETFs that the SEC is drawing through a process, and we have still yet to see a final decision on 2 ETFs in question, one by the Winklevoss twins, and another one by another group that's an American investment group that is trying to put an ETF. Not to mention, we just read the other day that Coinbase, the United States' biggest exchange, is going to back its own crypto ETF. So the ETF idea as integrating financial instruments under the exchange-traded fund instrument is not an impossibility. It's not history. It just needs to go through the legal protocols of the SEC. And you see, that's a mouthful, but you see that, folks? I mean, you have to know what's going on. You can't just read a fucking headline and think, oh my God, no more ETFs, I'm going to sell. And look, you combine what I just read to you on top of the Goldman Sachs fake news. This is why we're in the situation we're in crypto right now. This is why we're in. And you don't think this was a setup by goddamn Wall Street? Of course it was. Of course it was. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a couple of looks at some cryptos out here, because we've seen nothing but bloody red here for the past several days. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. BTC. Current market cap for Bitcoin is $109 billion market cap. Circulating supply for Bitcoin is 17.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin looks like it's coming back up. It looks like we may barely be bouncing back. And we should, because right now the U.S. dollar index is like down, 0.20%? We should be seeing some kind of a pickup, for Christ's sake. Stupid, dumb, memeing, neckbeard, internet fucking dorks, man. Learn how to invest. Grow some balls. Anyway, current price for the Bitcoin, a BTC, $6,323.55 per Bitcoin. Let's get to Ethereum. Now, another thing that is making the cryptocurrency investment community a little shaky in the pants is the fact that you've got Vitalik, the poshole-looking son of a bitch from Ethereum, coming out here recently and claiming, the days of 1,000% increase in cryptocurrency are over, and I want to pause someone's neg hole. I mean, give me a fucking break. I mean, you want to know why Vitalik is saying this crap? Because his coin is going down the tubes because his technology fucking sucks. That's why. His technology sucks. Ethereum, ETH sucks. Instead of going around the world, Vitalik, and showing off your latest My Little Pony handbag or purse or merce or whatever the fuck it is, why don't you go on that stupid little computer and fix the vulnerabilities that you have in your smart contract technology? Why don't you fix the shit that's wrong with your fucking coin, you stupid dumb pothole? Anyway, that's another reason why the market is reacting the way it's reacting, all right? So thank Vitalik. Anyway, Ethereum, ETH, current market cap is $20 billion market capitalization. The circulating supply is 101 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen Ethereum go down 0.23%. Current price, folks, this is unbelievable. It is going down. I think we're seeing the death of Ethereum. I'm not even kidding. I think we're seeing the death of Ethereum. I mean, if you want my opinion, I'm also think that we're seeing the physical age decomposition of Vitalik himself. That's why he's saying this ridiculous garbage. Anyway, the price for Ethereum, ETH, $196.98 per Ethereum. Good God. Anyway, everything is down, folks. Everything is down with the exception of a few. We're going to talk about those. Bitcoin Cash, unfortunately, another victim of this fudding contraction. The fudding contraction. BCH is the symbol for Bitcoin Cash. Current market cap is $8 billion for Bitcoin Cash, $8 billion. Current circulating supply is 17.3 million. In circulation, in the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Cash has gone down 3.30%. Jesus Christ. Current price for Bitcoin Cash, $465.72 per Bitcoin Cash. I mean, good God. Let's get to Litecoin, folks. Litecoin is also down, but take a look at the market cap. It's $3.1 billion market capitalization. The circulating supply for Litecoin is 58 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Litecoin has gone down 1.23%. Current price for Litecoin, $54.45 per Litecoin. Let's get to Monero, folks. What have I told you about Monero? It likes to run. It is a pattern or short trading play. As a matter of fact, I'm not too sure. You've got a lot of goddamn press, media as of late about Monero. That's why I've been I've been kind of suggesting that a Genesis-mining.com contract isn't bad for Monero if you're thinking about it. Anyway, let's take a look at Monero. XMR, current market cap is $1.7 billion market cap for Monero. The circulating supply is 16.3 million in circulation for XMR. In the past 24 hours, Monero has gone down 0.91%. Current price for Monero is $105.59 per Monero. Now, the only one in the green is Dash, folks, all right? Well, there's others in the green, but the first one we're going to talk about here in the green is Dash, D-A-S-H. Now, I know everybody's asking, Ghost, what the hell's going on with Dash? Why is it going up? Because, first of all, folks, what have I told you about this coin? It's been around since the first blockchain was put up in the public, Bitcoin. It's an old-school blockchainer, formerly known as dark chain. Moreover, folks, it's got a very nice circulating supply. Transaction fee is low. Transaction time is very fast. And not to mention, we're seeing a mass acceptance of Dash, and it's starting to happen at a rapid pace. I mean, it started off first and foremost because of the South American acceptance of Dash. But now, I read an article here recently, folks, you could probably pull it up if you wanted to Google it, over 8,000 merchants in America accept Dash as an exchange of goods and services. So this is really leading the increase in Dash that we've been seeing. And what have I told you all that have been listening? What have I told you all about a Genesis Dash mining contract when it comes to Dash? I said that this was a great move. And look, if you've been listening to me, and there's been some people that have been purchasing them, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, man. This is the perfect time to start mining Dash if you have a physical rig, or it's a good time to get into a mining contract from Genesis-mining.com. Here, let me go ahead and check out my Gab one more again so you can click the link. Go ahead and check out my Gab so you can click the link. But once again, the Dash mining contracts look very attractive. And the reason they look attractive is because Dash is being widely accepted. It's all about acceptability. And once again, folks, if you're entertaining a Genesis-mining.com contract, make sure to use the discount code, baby. Everybody's got to have a discount, right? Use the following discount code, WEA296. Once again, the Genesis-mining.com contract discount code is WEA296. Now, once again, let's take a look at Dash, because I mean, look, I'm giving you all the heads up because I'm trying to create more capitalists. I'm trying to give you all the 411 on what's going on, and everybody, you know, in the realm of freedom of capitalism, the idea of everyone's individual choice. It's up to you what you got to do, baby. It's up to you what you got to do. Anyway, Dash, current market cap for Dash is $1.6 billion market capitalization. The current circulating supply, what did I tell you about that circulating supply? 8.3 million. 8.3 million Dash in circulation. Now, even amidst a contracting market, folks, Dash is still up 3.28% increase on the day. Current price, folks, for Dash. Current price, $201.84 per Dash. What did I tell you? I hope that y'all got it. I know there's people in the True Capitalist Radio chat room that got it. And, hey, cheers to you guys, man. I mean, these guys did the math. They realized, hey, you know what? This is actually a pretty good fucking idea. It's fucking Ghost over here, man. He's fucking hooking me up, dude. Anyway, another coin that seems to be on the plus side today, folks. Believe it or not, we were just talking about the death of Ethereum. But guess, look at what's up today. Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic, ETC is the symbol, folks. Current market capitalization, and you know I've been talking about Ethereum Classic, folks, ever since it got put on the Coinbase mainnet. It's looking like a winner to me as far as I'm concerned, at least from the current price points that we're seeing today. All right, Ethereum Classic ETC market cap for Ethereum Classic, is $1.1 billion market capitalization. The circulating supply is 104 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum Classic has gone up 0.79% increase. Current price for Ethereum Classic, folks, is $11.38 per Ethereum Classic. Now, what's the difference between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum? Well, Ethereum Classic has a group of people running the coin. It's not just up to Vitalik and his pa's whole ass on. And you know, I mean, I'm just saying, I like Ethereum Classic. Are we going to get to $1,000 Ethereum Classic? No. But do I think Ethereum Classic that has the propensity of seeing $30, $40? Absolutely. Abso-goddamn-lutely. Anyway, let's take a look at another coin here. Zcash, folks. You know I like Zcash. ZEC. Current market cap, folks, is $565 million market capitalization. The circulating supply, and this is a very low circulating supply for Zcash, folks, 4.7 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Zcash has gone down. It is a victim of the contraction. It is down 1.29%. Current price for Zcash, $118.52 per Zcash. Now, folks, I hate to cover this fucking coin, but I've got to. Because you have to know how much market capitalization is going to this fucking ridiculous, stupid, immature, fucking man-child meme of a coin, and I'm talking about Dogecoin, all right? I'm talking about Dogecoin, D-O-G-E, all right? Now, look, it is up right now at 17.62% on the day. Can you believe this? Can you believe this crap? This is why legitimate investors don't want to take cryptocurrency that serious, because of you stupid fucking man-children that refuse to grow up, that should have had your jaws broken, your fucking nose broken when you were in fucking middle school and high school. So it would have beat the immaturity out of your stupid asses. This is fucking ridiculous, man. This is fucking ridiculous. Anybody who is fucking invested in Dogecoin, you should be repeatedly beaten the balls with an Acme brick. I mean, you are a fucking idiot, and hope that fucking prevents you from having children. I mean, good God, this makes me sick. And you want to know why it makes me sick, folks? Because it's a stupid fucking idiot meme coin. It was made as a joke. And here, look at how much market capitalization is in this joke of a stupid coin, for Christ's sake, man. $801 million market cap for this stupid fucking meme coin. $801 million. I mean, don't you understand what I'm saying, folks? That's a lot of money. That's serious money. That money should be in the coins that I'm covering now, but they're not, because every goddamn moron on the internet, and let me tell you, I can attest to this, folks. I've been on the internet for over 10 years. I have seen a gradual transition from regular everyday people that come on the internet to a bunch of cartoon fetished, a bunch of video game infested, a bunch of cyber stalking pieces of loser trash that should be wiped off the face of the planet, that comprises a big population of this goddamn internet. And this is why we have a fucking Dogecoin. You understand that? I'm not joking around. Each and every one of you that are investing in Dogecoin, you should be fucking anal raped with a cactus. You stupid fucking people, man. Anyway, now that I got that out of my chest, I'm done. I'm done, all right? I'm done with that. Now, let me get to a couple of more coins here, and then we're going to get the hell out of here, all right? Now, what have I told you about Bitcoin Diamond, folks? What have I told you about Bitcoin Diamond? For whatever reason, all right, there's a group of investors in this market that go right to Bitcoin Diamond in a massive buy-in whenever there's a contraction in the entire market. And everybody needs to take a look at this, because I've gotten in on the past 3 out of the 4 increases that we've had in Bitcoin Diamond for the past couple of months. And as I've stated, folks, everybody needs to take a look at Bitcoin Diamond, not for a long-term investment. Monitor it, because whenever there's a contraction, you're going to begin to see some increase in this coin. And, you know, you want some of that liquidity, you know what I mean? So monitor this whenever you see a contraction. For whatever reason, we have a group of people that go into this son of a bitch and make it go up double digits when everything is contracting. So I got in on this one. I did not get in on the last one. I got in on the previous two before the last one, and got some decent liquidity on this. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, Bitcoin Diamond, BCD. BCD is the symbol. Current market capitalization for Bitcoin Diamond is $318 million market capitalization. The current circulating supply for Bitcoin Diamond is 153 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Diamond has gone up 19.58%. That's right, folks, up 20%. Current price for Bitcoin Diamond, $2.07 per Bitcoin Diamond. All right, now let's get to quantum, folks. Unfortunately, this bounce up, I mean, it's really unfortunate. I mean, I don't know what it is about quantum, and whenever they put out news right in the midst of a contraction, because lest we forget, QTUM was just put on Polynix. And as it was put on Polynix, you got the FUD coming out of Goldman Sachs supposedly not being a part of the cryptocurrency trading market anymore. And then you've got this SEC fake news that we talked about earlier. So, but I'm not really worried about it, folks. This is one of my bearish long-term investments. We have seen this thing go up to $100. In my personal opinion, we are waiting. I don't know if you've been keeping up to date with QTUM. The organization that comprises of QTUM has put out something called a hackathon. Now, what they're trying to do is trying to utilize this hackathon to not only increase the potential development of decentralized applications in quantum, but also potentially find out any of the quirks, kinks, exploits, or anything that could be potentially vulnerable in the x86 virtual machine that could potentially put the coin or smart contracts at risk. So right now, we are currently in that phase in which the quantum people, the QTUM people, they're putting as much as, 30 million quantum on the line? Or 3 million. 3 million quantum on the line, so that anybody who happens to find or happens to have a good decentralized application and expand the potential of the x86 virtual machine. I mean, this is what we are at. This is the phase we are at this point. And once we see the results of what has happened in the hackathon, I think that we're going to see a gradual increase in QTUM, because like I said, folks, I mean, this is really where it is. It's the technology. The technology, it's where it's at. Let's take a look at it right now. Once again, we still have a lot of people holding the bag up to about $100 in QTUM, lest we forget that. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. QTUM market cap right now is at $311 million market cap. Circulating supply right now is 88 million in circulation. Now, QTUM is no different than most cryptocurrencies on the market today. It is suffering from a contraction. It is down 3.02%. Current price for quantum, a very, very attractive to keep fucking accumulating. I'm telling you that right now, especially if you've been holding some Dash and you held it when it was at about 130 and it's up to $200. I mean, this is where you want to put your money, baby. $3.51 per quantum, and I'm accumulating like it ain't shit. Anyway, folks, I think that's about it, for Christ's sake, man. We're almost out of time here, and I got a lot of things to talk about on the agenda today. One of the things that I'm going to talk about today, and we're going to get to it later, is this George Papadopoulos situation, and how George Papadopoulos basically shows that the president, his campaign, were targeted by the FBI to be set up in the current predicament that we're in. It's a very complicated string of events and people and places and people meeting people and people being introduced to people, etc. Let me go ahead and we're going to talk about that later, but that's why we're trying to get through with the markets here as quick as we possibly can. So let's go ahead and get to the stock market, right? Now, the stock market, folks, it's a little flat today, and the reason that it's flat is because the president announced, I don't know if y'all heard this, that he's willing to go, quote, all in with China tariffs, baby. You know what I mean? I mean, let's stop fucking around with China. If China doesn't want to pull the goddamn chopsticks out of its egg roll eating asses, well then go full throttle. Go full throttle with the fucking tariffs, Mr. President. I'm telling you, man, the gall of China, the absolute gall. Like, we're just supposed to continuously give them $600 billion a year. $600 billion with a B, folks, all right? $600 billion a year and an annual trade deficit indefinitely. We're just supposed to just give this to them out of the bottom of our hearts or something. I mean, look, so what if some stupid, imbecilic swamp creature in D.C. actually negotiated these imbalanced trade deals? That's why the people elected Donald Trump, so he could rectify this wrong that has been wronged on the United States for over 30 to 40 years, for Christ's sake, man. And thank God he's saying it. Thank God we got a president with balls out here that are going to tell these fucking Chinese, hey, you either stop your crap or we're going to blindfold your ass with dental floss, you stupid sons of bitches! But anyway, that's why we're seeing a little bit of a flat activity going on in the stock market today. So let's go ahead and get to it. The Dow Jones Industrials is down 59.47 points, a percentage decrease of 0.23%, closing out the Dow Jones Industrial at 25,857.07 points for the S&P 500. Or, excuse me, for the Dow Jones Industrial. That was the Dow. Excuse me. Dow Jones Industrial, 25,857.07 points. Now to the S&P 500. It is up modestly, 5.45 points, a percentage increase of 0.19%, closing out the S&P at 2,877.13 points for the S&P 500. We've got the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is also up 26.62 points, a percentage increase of 0.27%, closing out the NASDAQ at 7,924.16 points for the NASDAQ composite. Once again, folks, this president ain't messing around. And not to mention, we've got another showdown looming as it pertains to continuously funding this government. And that's what another thing on the investors' mind today is if there's going to be a potential another government shutdown or not. So a lot of things riding on the conscience of these investors in Wall Street. That's why you're seeing such helter-skelter activity as it pertains to the daily investment activity of the market. Let's go ahead and get to commodities. Let's get to energy here. WTI sweet crude. It is up 4 cents, a percentage increase of 0.06%. Current price for WTI sweet crude is $67.58 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. We've got Brent crude. It's also up 0.6, or actually it's 6 cents, up 6 cents, a percentage increase of 0.08%. Current price for current price for Brent crude. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking stumbling and mumbling over here. The current price for Brent crude is $77.43 per Brent crude barrel. We've got gasoline up 0.16%, natural gas up 0.04%, and heating oil up 0.05%. Let's go ahead and get to the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals! We've got gold up modestly 60 cents, a percentage increase of 0.05%, closing out gold at $1,200.40 per troy ounce of gold. We've got silver up 1 cent, a percentage increase of 0.10%, closing out silver at $14.20 per troy ounce of silver. We've got copper down today, 0.11%. We've got platinum up 0.19% increase for the day for platinum. Let's go ahead and get to the agriculture, shall we? Grains. Corn is unchanged for the day. Wheat is up 0.52%. Oats is up 0.60%. Rough rice is down 0.09%. Soybean is up 0.12%. Soybean oil is down 0.07%. And canola is up 0.02%. Let's go ahead and get to the soft, shall we? Cocoa, once again, the base for chocolate, it is up today 1.81%, and I think it's because of Ebola. Ebola. You need to read about, man, all the Ebola that's being found out there in Africa. And lest we forget that cocoa, the majority of it comes from Africa. Anyway, let's get to coffee. Coffee is down 1.17%. Sugar is up 1.73%. Orange juice is up 1.15%. And cotton is up 2.27%. I wonder if that's a play on the upcoming cold weather. And listen, I almost forgot to tell you. Let me end the softs really fast. Lumber is up 0.21%, rubber is down 0.18%, and ethanol is down 0.15%. Now, what I forgot to tell you all in the heating oil, in the energy sector, heating oil is something that you want to eyeball if you can find an ETF that coincides with heating oil as it goes up, because this is a play, and I tell everybody on this broadcast, this is a play, a yearly play, that you can get some really quick liquid in. Because, look, as we start getting down to the colder weather, and according to all farmers' almanacs, this is supposed to be a very cold, cold winter, you want to take a look at that heating oil, okay, because that is the component that heats most of the homes out there in New England and the cold states. And they need this as a very, very hot commodity, no pun intended. And as a result, because so many people want it and there's a scarcity of it, an increase happens every goddamn year. Every year I play that son of a bitch, and it's always good for easy liquid. I'm just trying to tell you, baby, all right? I'm just planting capitalist seeds. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to help. And before I continue to try to help, let me take a swig of this cola here. Good stuff. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at livestock, shall we? We've got live cattle. It is up 0.18%. We've got cattle feeder. It is down 0.18%. And lean hogs, folks, lean hogs is up 0.54%. And that, my friends, is the markets for your ass, all right? Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in with me. We got a lot of things to talk about here. And I guess we should go ahead and continue on and go right into the nitty-gritty. Let's go ahead and talk about the president, because this is very important, folks. I mean, the president has been nothing but dodging punches from an all-out fake news onslaught. All right, are you kidding me with all this fake news that a president has to sit here and endure, for Christ's sake? I've never seen a president endure such malarkey in my life. Now, what is he having to deal with? First thing that he has to deal with is this fucking idiot Obama coming out from his tranny wife's skirt and coming out and thinking that he's going to be some big influencer in the 2018 election. Now, before I get in on Obama, I want to remind every one of you Democrats that are feeling funny in the pants that we've got Barack Obama over here trying to talk for the Democrats in the 2018 midterms, lest we forget that Obama has been always toxic when it comes to midterm campaigning. The only decent campaigner that he is, I guess, decent campaigning for is himself. Is his own self. I don't understand why the Democrats are even acknowledging that Barack Obama is sitting over here trying to promote and galvanize the base to go out there and vote for 2018. If you want my personal opinion, I think this helps the Republicans. I think this helps galvanize the base. It reminds everybody that if we don't get out there and vote in 2018, we could very well not just see a re-episode of Barack Obama, but a re-episode of it 10 times worse. And I'm telling you right now, if you happen to have been a working person, a capitalist, anybody who worked for a living during the Obama administration, you know how hard those days were. You know how ridiculous this president made the United States look. There was more people on entitlements than any other time in history. Lest we forget that Barack Obama put more United States debt on our future than all presidents before him combined. Don't ever forget that, folks. Etch that in your head. He put $10 trillion on our books. And what do we have to show for it? Absolutely nothing. Where did all that money go? Where did all that $10 trillion that's on our U.S. debt that was incurred during Obama, where the hell did it go? Because it sure as hell didn't go to all those folks that got nothing but chump change with their goddamn EBT cards and welfare. If you take a look at who got that $10 trillion, folks, Wall Street, the big banks, the financial industry, Hollywood. Once again, I reiterate this 1,000 times. All you've got to do is take a look at Stimulus Package 2. Take a look at it. That is just a tip of the iceberg. But read who got all that open season on $1 trillion. Take a look at it. And take a look at the people that got that money. And take a look at the most vocal critics of our current President Trump. And you're going to find a direct correlation with people that are the most vocal critics of Trump and those that got paid during not only Stimulus Package 2, but throughout the Obama administration from our fucking tax dollars. And that's a fact. That's a fucking fact. And how anyone can negate that, you are just fooling yourself and you're trying to fool everybody else. Well, that's an absolute fact. I'm telling you, Obama, he's got a lot of nerve coming out, you know? He's got a lot of nerve coming out here. And you know the most ridiculous thing that he has said when he has come out here in the past couple of times? He has showed his ugly, stupid, dumb, tranny-loving face. You know what he said? He has suggested that the great economy that we are seeing right before our very eyes, that he had something to do with it. I mean, can you believe this crap? Can you believe the gall of this mulatto? That he had something to do with the Trump economy? I mean, do you understand this liberal lunacy? And you've actually got Democrats that believe this horse shit. You've actually got people out there, because this stupid mulatto said it, they're going to believe this horse shit. But lest we forget that we've got Obama in his own words here. And before I get to it, I want to remind everybody that this is now the second hour of the True Capitalist radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internet and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now. Add this to your bookmarks. Add this to your favorites. The following, ghost.report. All right? Ghost.report. That's all you got to type in your browser. Add to your bookmarks, add to your favorite, and spread that across the internets and throughout the world. Let them all know where to find True Capitalist Radio right here on Ghost.report. And by the way, what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room once again? Before I let you know how to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, I would like each and every one of you all to follow me on my only social media that I've got on the internet today. Every other social media out there that claims to be me, if there's an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook, if they claim to be me, it's fucking fake and gay. All right? Anyway, follow me on my only social media representation on the internets today, and that's on Gab, folks. All right, gab.ai in your browser. Follow me on there under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. It's that damn simple. And if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, it's as simple as this. So please follow the following instructions. All right? Go to my Gab account right now. All right? Go to my Gab. Check out my Gab. Go to my Gab account and click the subscribe button for premium content. All right? Click the subscribe button for premium content. And once you do that, private message me on Gab. Private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name so I can give you a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple, all right? That damn simple. Anyway, folks, now that we got all that out of the way, let me go ahead and continue. Oh, yeah, and by the way, if you want some True Capitalist Radio merch, if you want some True Capitalist Radio merch, and all you've got to do is go to the following website. And it's as simple as this. I'm telling you, these are easy websites. You should be able to remember them, but add them to your bookmarks. Add them to your favorites anyway. Ghost.market. All right? Ghost.market. Go check out the threads out there, man. Go check out the Ghost.report merch. Go check out the True Capitalist Radio merch. Go check out the Russian hacker meme merch, baby. You got to be wearing those. You got to show the threads. You got to be walking down school looking like you don't give a shit with the goddamn True Capitalist Radio merch. Be a man, baby. Be a man. Flex nuts. Flex nuts like you don't give a shit. Anyway, now that we got all that out of the way, we were talking about how Barack Obama is out here on the campaign trail for these goddamn disgusting, slimy, corrupt, criminalistic Democrats out here touting that he and his administration had something to do with the current Trump economy, which is unbelievably laughable. And the reason I say that, folks, because first of all, it's bullshit. But secondly, lest we forget that we have Obama on tape. This was during the 2016 elections, during a town hall, during PBS NewsHour, and somebody was asking him a question about jobs coming back to America. Because lest we forget, folks, I mean, there was high unemployment during Barack Obama. All right, there was high unemployment. There was corporate means of production leaving the United States and going to places like China, like Mexico. And people, everyone in here was concerned about being gainfully employed, as well as everyone should be. You to listen to what Barack Obama said. Now remember, before I play this clip, remember, this stupid mulatto asshole is claiming that he has something to do with the current Trump economy, which is horseshit. How today is he going to come out publicly and claim that he has something to do with the Trump economy when he was saying this? When he was saying this in 2016. All right, roll it, engineer, roll it. Hold on. God damn it, engineer, can you... Why are you doing this? Why are you doing... Fucking play it, engineer, for Christ's sake!
May have noticed following this election, Donald Trump came to Indiana and talked a lot about what happened with the carrier operation and shipping their jobs out of state. Here's someone who worked for Carrier, and he has a question for
Listen
you.
to this.
How you doing, Mr. President?
How are you?
My name is Eric Cottenham, and I'm representing the Steelworkers Union, Local 1999, and I'm trying to find out what do we have left for as all of our jobs are leaving Indianapolis, right? And I see here you're doing a lot of things, but in Indianapolis, there's nothing there for us. I mean, what's next? I mean, what can we look forward to in the future as far as jobs, employment, whatever, because all of our jobs is left. Or
Now, do you hear this man right here? He's representing a steel union, and he's asking what the hell's left for America. Remember, this is 2016. This is June 1st, 2016. And this man is asking what the hell's left for America, Obama? What's in it for us? The jobs are gone. I mean, what are we just going to end up becoming public servants? Huh? We supposed to be workers of the state? Is that because, folks, lest we fucking forget that the highest employer, the employer with the most amount of employees was the public sector. The government had more public employees than there was private employees in the Obama administration. That's why whenever you hear Obama talking about how he increased black employment, he did so by making them part of the goddamn system. And that's not how you grow an economy, because, folks, if all there is, the only economic opportunity that there is you being a part of the state, that's communism or socialism, however you want to put it. Now, once again, this man is asking Obama back in June of 2016, what's in it for us? Why don't you explain to us, Obama, what's the future of the economy? Why don't you explain to us? Go ahead.
are in the process of leaving, sir.
Well, in fact, we've seen more manufacturing jobs created since I've been president than any time since the 1990s.
What the fuck are we producing back then, Obama, besides cheeseburgers and entertainment? You lying sack of crap.
That's a fact. And, you know, if you look at just the auto industry as an example, they've had record sales and they've hired back more people over...
You know what he fails to tell you right there? That the auto industry was a huge beneficiary of the $10 trillion he spent during his goddamn tenure as president. He didn't tell you that, oh yeah, the auto industry is doing great because I bailed them fucking out with U.S. tax dollars. He doesn't tell you that shit. He doesn't tell you that. Because he's a goddamn liar. Play it.
Industry as an example. They've had record sales and they've hired back more people over the last 5 years than they had for a very long time. We actually make more stuff, have a bigger manufacturing base today than we've had in most of our history.
You know, instead of saying that, Obama, in 2016, why don't you explain to us what it is that we were producing so much? Huh? Besides cheeseburgers and entertainment. What exactly were we producing back during your tenure, you stupid mulatto idiot?
The problems have been, part of the problems have had to do with jobs going overseas.
Jobs going overseas because our swamp D.C. government gave tax initiatives to send means of production outside the United States into other countries. That's a fact. Go ahead.
And this is one of the reasons why I've been trying to negotiate trade deals to raise wages and environmental standards in other countries, so that...
Now, wait, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Did you hear how he said that we're producing the most, you know, this is the most productive goddamn time in American history, my tenure, and then he talks about renegotiating trade deals for better living wages and human rights. What the hell does that have to do with anything when we have imbalanced trade deals going out of our asshole? What does that have to do with anything when we got China having us over a goddamn stool, whipping our ass with $600 billion in trade deficits? I mean, what is this guy talking about? But keep listening.
They're not undercutting us. But frankly, part of it's had to do with automation. You go into an auto factory today that used to have 10,000 people And now they've got 1,000 people making the same number of cars or more. And so
now he's blaming technology. It's all convergence of autonomous robots. Is that what you're blaming, Obama, for fuck's sake? What a weasel. You understand? This is why you have to listen to these people, and you've got to dissect everything they say, because they can't back up their garbage. Listen to this guy. You notice there's no teleprompter in this guy's face. That's why he's bumbling and stumbling and is over his own tongue like an impotent jerk, because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
What that means is, even though we're making the same amount of stuff in our manufacturing sector, we're employing fewer people. Now, the good news is that there are entire new industries that...
Why don't you tell us you notice this is how every fucking Democrat talks. Abstract language, not getting detailed, not explicitly explaining what the fuck he's talking about. He's like, luckily, the good news is that there's more evolved jobs that are employing these people. Why don't you name them? Why don't you name them? And you want to know why he couldn't name them? Because there wasn't any. He's a fucking sociopathic Manchurian candidate fucking liar.
There are entire new industries that are starting to pop up. And you're actually seeing some manufacturers coming back to the United States because they're starting to realize, you know what, energy prices are lower here, workers are better here, this is our biggest market, and so even though we offshore...
And you know, once again, more abstract language. Who was coming back during your tenure, Obama? Who was coming back to the United States? Because I was a capitalist, I was there, and I don't remember anybody coming back. I don't remember anybody coming back. I don't remember you, Obama, standing with a goddamn CEO saying, look, he's coming back to the United States. They're going to bring 200,000 jobs, and they're going to bring $2 trillion worth of business to the area. And you've never heard Obama in that context. You've never seen him in that context because it never happened. This guy's a fucking sick sociopath. Why people believe this guy is beyond me. I mean, how do people believe this maniac?
This is our biggest market. And so even though we offshored and went someplace else before, now it turns out we're better off going ahead and manufacturing here.
Who? Who?
For those folks who've lost their job right now.
Okay, now listen to what he says right now. For those who lost your job right now, listen to his compensation. After all this abstract language bullshit, listen to what he says to those that lost their job right now. This is the compensation from this fucking soulless Democratic piece of mulatto shit. Listen to this guy.
Because a plant went down to Mexico. That isn't going to make you feel better. And so what we have to do is to make sure that folks are trained for the jobs that are coming in now, because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you just hear what he just said? Some of those jobs from the past are not coming back. You want to know why they're not coming back? Because of your regulation. Because of what you did to the economy. Because you got in the way of private industry, you fucking socialist piece of trash. And this guy, look, I'm going to continue to play this, but you notice how he's talking now. This is the 2016 town hall that he had on PBS NewsHour. Listen to this guy. He's already telling people that, hey, look, those jobs are not coming back. But you know what? You just had to have a competent capitalist leader in office to bring those jobs back in Donald Trump. Listen to this guy explain to a steel union guy what... the guy's asking, like, where's the economic productivity? Where's the big growth you're talking about, Obama? And this is what he's explaining to him. Listen to this shit.
And when somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for.
He's talking about Trump in this case. So for all those that are asking or wondering, who's he talking about? Let's roll that back, engineer. And let's prelude it before he goes for that individual who you just said, which I'm not going to advertise for. He's talking about Trump. Listen to what he says about Trump's economic policies in 2016. Open your fucking ears. Everybody who's listening, open your goddamn ears and listen to what this piece of trash says. Listen! Listen! Listen!
Jobs that are coming in now.
Listen!
Because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back.
This is what he thought about. Listen.
When somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for,
Trump,
that he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, "Well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal." Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that?
Hey, asshole, because you don't know, because you're not a capitalist, because you're some stupid, dumb academic, and you think that you know so much, doesn't mean shit. And did you hear him there? He didn't even know how Trump was going to make the economy that he has in 2016. Listen to this guy. Listen!
Just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise.
Listen!
That he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, "Well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal." Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that?
What an asshole.
What magic wand do you have? And usually,
hey, and by the way, the president trolled Obama this morning, say, "Hey, I got a magic wand," referencing this speech right here. That's what the president, in his tweet, when he was talking about, "I'll just wave my magic wand," this is what the President Donald Trump was talking about, this speech that Barack Obama gave here, even though today Barack Obama's trying to claim that it's his economy, he's the reason, etc. What a fucking lying mulatto piece of fucking liberal socialist trash.
Negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that?
How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that?
What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is he doesn't have an answer. So what I've tried to do, what my administration's tried to do is...
Yeah, well, what did you try to do for 8 fucking years? What did you try to do?
Let's grow those manufacturing sectors like clean energy.
Oh, did you hear that? Like clean energy? Now... No, those aren't emerging markets, you dumb shit. You gave billions, if not trillions, of U.S. tax dollars to these so-called new production ideas that weren't even in demand. That's why you have so much debt during your tenure, because you and your academic ass and the rest of your fucking administration, you all thought that you knew better and that you could dictate production like most socialists and fucking communists do. You thought that you're going to dictate and make everything clean energy, everything solar, everything wind power, everything energy efficient, everything water efficient, all this shit, and what? It didn't do anything. It put United States into debt, you dumb fucking idiot socialist piece of fucking soulless shit. God, I hate Obama, man. I fucking hate you, Obama. You're a fucking soulless piece of shit. What magic wand is Trump going to use? Trump didn't have to use a magic wand. He just used the understanding of capitalism. He used the art of the deal. He understands what it takes to be a businessman. He understands money. He understands things that you don't, Mr. Academic. And that's what pisses off all these liberals. That's what pisses off all these liberals. They hate capitalists. And the reason they hate capitalists is because capitalists don't have to be some academic that writes papers and goes to school for 20 years and gets 2 or 3 PhDs. They don't have to do that to be famous, to be rich, to own means of production, to be in charge, to obtain authority, to be in charge of people's livelihoods, etc. And that's what these liberals envy about capitalists. That capitalists don't even need to know how to read. And yet because they have ambition, because they have skill, because they have prowess, they go out and make more money than these so-called academics. And these academics hate it. They hate it. That's why you hear all these media outlets, these liberal media outlets like BuzzFeed and all these other goddamn media outlets. What do? Every time the president misspeaks, or every time he misarticulates a word, it becomes a big, huge story because, oh, look, he mispronounced this word. Look, he's stupid. Look at us. We're a bunch of academics that graduated from college, and we've got a doctorate's degree, so we could go ahead and pick apart everything we want because we're better than everybody else. So, yeah. They hate it, folks. I'm telling you, that's why all these fucking people in college hate capitalists, because they could never achieve what a capitalist could achieve. Never. They could never do what it takes to achieve what a capitalist achieves. They don't want to go through the hardships, the backstabs, the fucking slaps in the face, the adversity. They don't want to go through that. They'd rather go through a happy-go-lucky little canonization of going through goddamn college, having their asses and pussies pampered, and how they're so brilliant, and how they're so smart, and oh my God, look at this work. This is so beautiful. It's so articulate. This is all it's about, folks. This is why everybody hates capitalists on the left. Because they can't stand that they had to go to college, they had to go put themselves in debt, that they've got doctorate degrees, and somebody that doesn't even know how to read makes more than them on an annual basis. This is what it comes down to. It's haterism. Fucking haterism, man. Anyway, just finish the rest of the Obama banter, for Christ's sake. I'm so sick of this asshole, this contradicting idiot. How dare this asshole try to take fucking credit for the damn Trump economy? How dare this asshole? And look, I just let you hear out of his own words that he didn't even believe that Trump was going to do any of the things that he suggested. And now that he's done it, as he was president, you've got this idiot Obama trying to take credit for it. What a fucking scumbag. I swear to God, man, Obama should be kicked in the balls. I'm not even kidding, man. Jesus Christ.
What I've tried to do, what my administration's tried to do is, let's grow those manufacturing sectors like clean energy, like some of these new technologies that are coming up. Let's focus on those. We've set up, for example, manufacturing hubs where we work with universities.
Now, do you hear how he said, we set up this, we did this with the university? Who the fuck is he talking about we? The state! That's communism and socialism! The state! And all those little dumb little programs that he's describing that he set up, all failures. And all a part of the 10 trillion that he incurred, the 10 trillion he incurred of the 21 trillion that's our debt. Fucking scumbag.
For example, manufacturing hubs where we work with universities, local businesses, local governments to create research labs that can take something like 3D printing or nanotechnology or all kinds of stuff that I can't really explain.
Yeah, because you can't explain. If you can't explain it, then why in the hell are you in charge of funding it, you fucking stupid shithead? I mean, do you understand? This is every collective ideology right here. Did you hear this guy? He's like, we did this, and we're doing that, and we're doing this. And we're trying to get people involved in this technology and that technology, which I don't really understand. If you don't really understand, then why are you funding it, you dumb shit? Why are you funding this crap that ended up becoming a nothing burger and a debt on the United States deficit? You fucking piece of crap! Why did you fund it if you don't know anything about it? This is communism. This is socialism. This is why Venezuela is in the situation it's in, because Venezuela had a whole collectivist group that planned the economy for Venezuela when they didn't have the slightest idea what the fuck they were doing. Listen to Obama again.
Scientists and really smart people know all about it.
No, go back.
Nanotechnology or all kinds of stuff that I can't really explain because, scientists and really smart people know all about it. And said, let's invest in this so that when the new jobs come, they're coming here. But I got to tell you that the days when you just being willing to work hard, and you can now walk into a plant and suddenly there's going to be a job for you for 30 years or 40 years, that's just not going to be there for our kids.
Did you hear this? Did you hear this, asshole? Man, listen to this. Look, I'm sorry I'm spending so much time on this, but folks, it fucking pisses me off that this asshole is actually taking credit for the Trump economy. I mean, it fucking chaps my goddamn ass to no end that this son of a bitch is taking credit for the Trump economy when he didn't even take credit. He didn't even take credit for what the hell Trump said he was going to do. All he did was ridicule. And all he did was talk about these stupid technologies that he invested all these taxpayer dollars in that have not come to fruition. And what did he say after everything's said and done? Your ability to just go to some plant and get a job, it's not going to be around anymore. And you know what? The president now, Donald Trump, has basically made this stupid mulatto eat his own words. But because he's such a sociopath and a psychopath and doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself, like most liberal Democrats, he's not even going to remember this. As a matter of fact, that's the trick around these stupid liberals. They make sure to surround themselves with all these assistants who will become layers to anybody who has a camera or a recording device who could confront Obama and ask him about these words right here. He's not going to be able to answer. He's not going to be able to answer because this in 2016, this town hall meeting on PBS NewsHour completely contradicts the claim that he was somehow the catapult of the current Trump economy. I mean, these words on this clip alone disprove that completely.
All kinds of stuff that I can't really explain because, scientists and really smart people know all about it. And said, let's invest in this so that when the new jobs come, they're coming here. But I got to tell you that the days when you just being willing to work hard, and you can now walk into a plant and suddenly there's going to be a job for you for 30 years or 40 years, that's just not going to be there for our kids.
What an asshole.
Because more and more that stuff's going to be automated. And if you go into a factory, that kid's going to need to know computers or is going to need to know some science and some math because
wait a minute. If they need to know science and math, how come we're not emphasizing it in our public education, you jagoff? How come we're emphasizing liberal arts education and the self-esteem movement if this is such a point of emphasis as Obama claimed right now in this speech from 2016?
Not even going to be picking anything up. They're just going to be working on a keyboard. And that's why we put so much emphasis on job training, community colleges. That's why I've proposed making the first 2 years of community college free.
Oh, great. Making community college meaningless, too. That's great.
So that we know that every young person, they're going to be able to, if they're not going for a full 4-year degree, at least they're going to be getting the technical training they need for those jobs of the future.
Now, fuck you. Shut him off. I don't want to hear him, for Christ's sake, man. But once again, you heard it right from Obama. You heard it right from his goddamn mouth. This son of a bitch said in 2016 that, Donald Trump was somehow, out of his gourd. He claimed, how is Trump going to do this? How is he going to wave this magic wand of his? And how is he going to bring all these jobs back? Brother, it's the art of the deal. It's capitalism. It's what your wannabe academic ass doesn't have no understanding about. And how you can take credit for the Trump economy makes me sick, man. I'm telling you, Obama, I hope that one day when you're in a sexual liaison with your power top tranny wife and she's plowing you from the behind, 250 pounds of jackhammer lineman ass going into your goddamn poop chute, I hope she erects your goddamn colon and we never hear from you again, man. You make me sick, man. You make me sick, Obama. I'm serious. I can't believe you could go to sleep at night and actually say the things you say to a whole country of people and then lie about it completely. I can't believe this crap. But this is what our president right now, Donald Trump, has to put up with. All right? He's claiming, out here that he is the reason why the Trump economy is so good. And you just heard from him. You heard Obama in 2016. He claimed that the days of people without any education going and getting some job is over. Folks, in the new Trump economy, people that don't have a high school degree, let alone a college degree, people that don't have a college degree in America, they're at their lowest unemployment in U.S. history. So this asshole in 2016, Barack Obama, not only was wrong, he was fucking lying. He's lying then, and he's lying now. And why anybody still follows this guy is beyond me. I've always suggested he's the affirmative action president. He's the one or two black people in an all-white school that everybody looks towards as a novelty. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, you all know what I'm talking about. I went to an all-white school. We'd have like two black people, and everybody thought that the black person was like, hey, look, that's our black. Like a novelty. That's why everybody voted for Barack Obama. I'm telling you, that's why. I remember, folks, back in 2008, people were trying to tell me that, Ghost, if we vote for Barack Obama, the racial situation in America will be just completely eliminated. Europe will love us. It'll be world peace. And Barack Obama will pay for our houses, and he'll give us free food, and he'll give me gas money, and all this crap, man. You people are fools, man. You people are idiots. Anyway, aside from the president, I'm talking Donald Trump, having to put up with Obama, he's got Bob Woodward on top of that to put up with. Bob Woodward with his stupid BS book? Nothing but anonymous sources, for Christ's sake. A complete fucking false fallacy book. And what have I said about Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, folks? I purposely believe that they've always been Democrat operatives. Every piece that they've ever written, going back even before Watergate, was liberal and Democrat in nature. Now, lest we forget, folks, that here recently we have found an element within the highest level of the judicial branch, the highest levels of the judicial branch at the Department of Justice and the FBI, specifically the FBI, in which the Democrats politicized that institution in an attempt to try to ruin a presidency. Now, since we know that for whatever reason the FBI was pro-Hillary, and the reason we know this was because of the lackadaisical investigation approach when it came to her and her private email scandal that jeopardized classified information to foreign actors, that there's a double standard when it comes to the FBI. If you're a Democrat, you could pretty much get away with murder. But if you're a Republican, they're going to crawl up your ass with a fucking microscope, and if they can't find anything on you on the initial charge, they'll find something from your past to try to charge you with, if you're a Republican. Now, the reason that I say this about the FBI, folks, because lest we forget, I talked about this on the last broadcast, who was the infamous Deep Throat, the infamous anonymous source that gave the information of the Watergate break-ins to Woodward and Bernstein to begin with? Who was it? None other than the second in command at the FBI at the time, Mark Felt. Mark Felt, the second in command at the FBI, was the anonymous source that gave the credibility of the Watergate scandal to Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. And I'm alleging that Woodward and Bernstein have always been operatives to the FBI, if you want my opinion. How in the hell were they able to talk to Mark Felt, second in command of the FBI, without no one from the FBI knowing about it? It's bullshit. The FBI has been politicized ever since the Watergate scandal. And this proves it. Just take a look at Woodward and this bullshit book that he's putting out with absolutely no sources whatsoever, a bunch of anonymous sources. And if you want my opinion, folks, this is what Woodward does for a living. He puts out a book He puts out a book with a whole bunch of anonymous sources, and every one of these books have been questionable when it comes to the validity of a lot of Woodward's interpretations of people's statements. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that Woodward put out this book because he's a deep state Democrat globalist operative that should go down in history as nothing more than some stupid idiot rattling his goddamn tin can with a couple of fucking nickels and dimes in it, asking people for more money so he can give them this fictitious political drama that he always seems to publish in every fucking book that he has. Fuck you, Bob Woodward, all right? You're not no fucking journalist. You're a yellow journalist. You're a sensationalist. You should have been writing for the goddamn National Enquirer. You are not a journalist. A journalist doesn't put out things from a political bias perspective. They deliver information and let it go. They don't suggest what they should do with the information, how to interpret the information, etc., which is what you do, Bob Woodward, which is what you do. So once again, I am alleging that Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein are both a bunch of FBI operatives, and that's why you're seeing both of them working overtime, even though these guys are like, what, 75, 80 years old? These are a bunch of old prostate-infected has-beens that probably get up about 8 to 10 times to take a piss during the evening, and yet they spend all their waking moments during the day trying to bash, trying to trash, trying to libel, trying to slander our president, Donald Trump. I mean, you don't think that there's a motive behind that? Fucking Woodward and Bernstein, a bunch of FBI operatives. You couldn't get any more fucking obvious, man. Guys are pieces of shit, man. And not to mention, we need to disband the FBI as well, man. The FBI has always been a criminalistic a spy grid of whoever the hell was at the head of that damn organization. And you know what I don't like about the FBI? Every time somebody dies, the FBI releases a docket of information on these people, like they were looking at them and had a fucking file on these people. I mean, what the hell is it up to the FBI having a file on everybody, man? Why don't you take about 10 steps away from my freaking butt crack and leave me alone, FBI? Leave me alone. I'm an American. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I love this country. Stop trying to ruin it with your authoritarian, criminalistic law enforcement. I'm American. I'm an American. Leave me alone. Leave me and every other law-abiding American citizen alone, FBI. Leave us alone. Jesus Christ, man. And who else is the president having to fend off? None other than this treasonous, anonymous op-ed New York Times writer. Did you... Jesus Christ, man. I feel bad for the president, bro. I'm not even kidding around. I mean, all the president wanted to do was give America back to the people, but take a look at everybody who's backstabbing him, everybody who's two-facing him, everybody he cannot trust all around him, man. It's disgusting. I mean, this is how people are nowadays, folks. I hate to admit it. I mean, this is how people are. People are a bunch of two-faced idiots, and you know, what's unfortunate is that the only thing that keeps people honest is the same thing that kept the mob honest. Remember? You know, murder, you know, whacking or whatever. You know, I mean, I hate to say it. I hate to say it. But I want to be honest with you. Whoever the hell this treasonous, anonymous New York Times op-ed piece writer is, this person, in my personal opinion, because they're claiming to be a senior advisor and claiming to be a part of the resistance within the White House, not only should this mole be smoked out of their hole, they should be put in jail and potentially executed for treason. I'm not even kidding around. This right here is subversive coercion at the highest levels of the goddamn government, and how we can just put up with this and slap whoever this goddamn anonymous New York Times op-ed writer is, just slap him on the wrist, is bullshit. This treasonous bastard whoever this so-called senior writer is, that is the author of this anonymous New York Times op-ed piece, they not only need to be arrested, they need to be executed for treason. They need to be executed for treason, folks. We can't allow this. The president can't allow this. And not only should this person, whoever wrote the treasonous anonymous op-ed piece for the New York Times, not only should they be executed for treason, I think this dumb, stupid black bitch, Omarosa. And let me tell you, I hate to say this, but Omarosa just threw black relations with, race relations even further back than Obama did. I mean, is this how black folk repay people that give them an opportunity? By, as soon as you're given that opportunity, you're figuring out a way to screw that person? I'm telling you, Omarosa over here is putting out all these secret recordings that she made, and this stupid black bitch deserves to not only be arrested, she should be executed also! You don't record the president secretly off of your fucking phone because you're trying to get yourself some kind of money? You're trying to gain some kind of book deal? We need to set a precedent with these two fucking people specifically. This fucking treasonous anonymous op-ed author, this person needs to be executed for treason, and same with Omarosa! She should be fucking executed for treason! How dare you! How dare you put the country at risk? How dare you! Execute them! They need to be executed for treason! The goal of these people that think that they can get away with this! The goal! Oh, it makes me sick! But this is what the president has to put up with on a daily basis, man. I feel bad for the president. I'm going to be completely honest. I feel bad for the president. But I hope you're listening, Mr. President. You need to put these people at least in jail. But if I were you, this is treason. And they deserve to be executed. And I don't give a shit what anybody says about that. They deserve to be executed! This fucking anonymous op-ed New York Times writer and that stupid, dumb, backstabbing black bitch Omarosa! Execute them! Off with their head! Jesus! Anyway, let me move on. I feel bad for the president, but once again, I got to move on. I'm running out of time here. Let's talk a little bit of some good news about the president. Did you hear the National Security Advisor Bolton? All right, John Bolton, did you hear what he had said that the president's stance on the International Criminal Court was? I mean, if this isn't a bitch slap to globalism, then I don't know what the hell is. Basically, the president and his administration has told the ICC, the International Criminal Court at The Hague, to piss off. Yes! Yes! This is, every single day this president just amazes me how much anti-globalist he truly is, man. And for all you fucking alt-righters and white nationalists that were out here stroking the schlong head of Vladimir Putin, claiming that he was anti-globalist, claiming Vladimir Putin was a Russian nationalist, hey! How come Vladimir Putin, Mr. Anti-Globalist, how come he always acknowledges the United Nations? How come he acknowledges the International Criminal Court? How come he acknowledges these international institutions if supposedly Vladimir Putin is anti-globalist? Because he's not! If you want my opinion, I think fucking Vladimir Putin is at the bottom of globalism. And we'll talk about that in a second. But once again, the president and his administration have basically told the International Criminal Court to go piss off because the ICC at The Hague has been claiming that they want to try to bring charges against some of our boys that were out there in Afghanistan kicking ass and taking names of the Taliban. And can you believe that the International Criminal Court is even discussing this, even having talks about this? Well, let me tell you something. Our president and this administration told the International Criminal Court to go take their goddamn stupid wigs and shove them up their goddamn European asses, because we don't want any. We are no longer acknowledging the International Criminal Court. As a matter of fact, Bolton himself, the head foreign advisor for the president, has said, and I quote, the ICC, the International Criminal Court at The Hague, is, quote, dead to us. Yes! Yes, I'm loving this anti-globalism. I'm loving every fucking minute of it. I'm telling you. Woo! Oh, man, that's gangsta. That's gangsta, man. Oh, my God, man. That's my president right there. That's my president. I'm telling you. Telling the ICC to go piss off, man. That's my president, man. That's my president. Fucking love that guy. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing on this broadcast, all right? That's why I'm trying to convey to each and every one of you the importance of the 2018 midterm election. It's time for you all to get politically serious, and by God, not only you, but convince everybody that's within your realm of influence to go out and vote Republican in 2018. We cannot, and I repeat, we cannot have a blue wave. We cannot have a blue wave, because a blue wave will only mean impeachment, folks. And what is that going to do for the country? How is that going to benefit America? It's not. It's going to stagnate America, and what these Democrats and the establishment Republicans are planning on doing is trying to make, through this impeachment, if, and I do mean if, there's a blue wave in 2018, they're going to use this impeachment to run the name of Donald Trump and his family into the mud so that he is unelectable for 2020. That's what this all comes down to. That's why I'm calling on each and every one of you, goddammit. And even the president in a recent rally is calling on you. He said, and I quote, if there is an impeachment, he'll deal with it. But if there is, it's your fault. If there's an impeachment of our president, it's your fault, because you didn't vote and you didn't encourage everybody that was in your sphere of influence to vote, for Christ's sake. So wake up! The 2018 midterm elections are that serious. Why do you think they dusted off Obama and had him going around here speaking all the time? This is that serious. Wake up! All of you people. We cannot allow a blue wave. We cannot allow a blue goddamn wave. Jesus Christ. Give me my water. Anyway, folks, once again, that's my president. Telling the International Criminal Court to go piss off. That's my president. Now, let me move on to another subject matter, folks. I want to talk a little bit about the George Papadopoulos sentencing. We talked a little bit about it on Friday, how the supposed smoking gun. Remember, everybody was talking about how Papadopoulos was the ultimate witness, and he was going to bring down Trump, and, I mean, this was the man, and what about Papadopoulos and all this other shit? And take a look. You know what sentence he got? He got 14 days in prison. 14 days in prison. You know what this means? I said it on Friday. It means that even the judge saw through this very, very aggressive prosecution of Papadopoulos and decided that, hey, look, if this is how the Mueller prosecution wants to play, I'm going to send a public message to show that all this nonsense, the $25 million in taxpayer dollars that the Robert Mueller special counsel has spent, is for naught. Is for absolute naught. Now, I don't know if you heard the Papadopoulos interviews recently, but man, he gave an insight to the cloak and dagger wars that have been happening at a black operative level. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even kidding, man. I'm not even kidding. Now, I want you all to try to bear with me, because what I'm going to try to do is explain to you, based on Papadopoulos' explanation, what has happened and why he got mixed up in this, how he was able to be pinpointed as some point of contact for Russia, all this nonsense, because, folks, they're not going to tell you this in the mainstream media. Okay? Now, George Papadopoulos is much like any millennial man. He was trying to be an up-and-coming chap. You know, he's got a law degree. He's a guy that's trying to, make his mark in life. I mean, you can't blame this kid for trying to go out and trying to be a part of the Trump administration. And he tried a couple of times to be a part of the Trump administration, going back as far as 2015, and there was no interest until the 2016 and the true campaign started. Now, when it started, there was interest in Papadopoulos because his point of emphasis of expertise was foreign policy and international law. And when he was accepted as a person that was going to work for the Trump campaign, at the time, folks, Papadopoulos was working at a place in London called the London Center for International Law. Now, when he was invited to be a part of the Trump campaign, he had to give his notice at the London Center for International Law. But when he gave his notice, for whatever reason, the London Center for International Law insisted that Papadopoulos go to Rome for some reason. And he said, fine, I mean, if y'all are going to go ahead and pay to go to Rome, I'll go to Rome, whatever, I guess, whatever. Once he went to Rome, folks, this is where he met a professor by the name of Joseph Mifsud. Joseph Mifsud, or Mifsud, that's M-I-F-S-U-D, Professor Joseph Mifsud out of Sterling University. Now, Papadopoulos, in his interviews, has said that before this, he had never heard of this guy. He would have never have come in contact with this guy. But for whatever reason, he said, this law firm of his, the London Center for International Law, wanted him to go to Rome, and this is where his paths crossed with Professor Joseph Mifsud out of Sterling University. Now, after he met Mifsud had been corresponding with Papadopoulos as he was a part of the Trump campaign. Now, Papadopoulos was initially hired to be a somewhat foreign policy advisor for China. Now, this is where it gets very, very screwy, and we're going on many different people's testimony here. Now, who was the guy who actually hired Papadopoulos? The guy who actually hired Papadopoulos was a man by the name of Sam Clovis. Now, Sam Clovis, which is an advisor, he was a former national co-chairman of the Trump campaign. This guy, for whatever reason, not only hired Papadopoulos, but for whatever reason wanted Papadopoulos and his expertise to be focused on Russia. Now, this is very interesting, folks, because this is what Papadopoulos said. Papadopoulos said that they were going to hire me, but they wanted me to focus on Russia. And once this happened, that's when the professor that he met in Rome started emailing him, talking about how he had some kind of dirt on the Clintons, on the Democrats, etc., and corresponded with Papadopoulos. Now, with that being said, Papadopoulos informed Sam Clovis about this, and Sam Clovis suggested that he go ahead and continue to pursue these inquiries into this Professor Joseph Mifsud and what potential information that he had. Now, why is Clovis asking Papadopoulos to do this? Well, according to Sam Clovis, a man by the name of Stefan Halper, that's Stefan, S-T-E-F-A-N, Halper, H-A-L-P-E-R, had contacted him about the presidential campaign in 2016, an out-of-the-blue email in which this guy Stephen Halper had gotten contact with Sam Clovis, and Halper told Clovis that Carter Page told him to contact Clovis. Before that, Clovis had never talked or never heard or never even discussed, never even knew who Halper was prior to August 29, 2016. And of course, Halper claimed Carter Page put him in contact with Clovis. Now, this is where it's very weird on what the hell actually happened, because what we found out through the investigation and testimony and the unearthing of certain information related to the Robert Mueller Special Counsel is that this man that contacted Sam Clovis out of the blue via email and got in tight with Clovis was an FBI informant. That's right, folks. Stephen Halper was an FBI informant, and Clovis never knew about Halper's connection to the FBI. He only learned about it through news reports and shit, okay? And once he realized that, Halper was a part of the FBI, that's when he started, kind of combing over his recollection on what exactly Halper was trying to get Clovis to do. And it was Halper's suggestion when Clovis told Halper about Papadopoulos and his connection with Joseph Mifsud, and about how Joseph Mifsud, and by the way, the professor, Joseph Mifsud, out of Sterling University, allegedly he had close connections to Russian intelligence. Okay? So let's just keep that in mind. Remember, Mifsud had close connections with Russian intelligence. For whatever reason, he met, out of happenstance, which I don't think was happenstance, he met Papadopoulos in Rome. Clovis hires Papadopoulos. And according to Clovis, out of the behest of Halperin, Clovis told Papadopoulos to be an advisor, a foreign advisor in relation to Russia, not China, which is what his expertise was. And when Papadopoulos said, well, Jesus Christ, okay, I'll go ahead, I'll do this Russian thing, I'll do whatever it takes. I'm an up-and-coming millennial, man. I'm trying to stake my claim out here. So, unfortunately, this Halper, who was, once again, an FBI informant, was the one pushing Clovis into not only pushing Papadopoulos towards being a foreign advisor as it relates to Russia, but Halper actually somehow convinced Clovis to have a meeting with Clovis, Halperin, the Papadopoulos, and Carter Page. And it's this meeting where supposedly there was some collusion or exchange of something which ended up becoming a nothing burger. So what ended up happening is that Halperin and many other people that came in contact with Papadopoulos thereafter were trying to corner Papadopoulos and any information that he had relating to the John Podesta emails or the DNC leaks, because that's what they thought Papadopoulos had. And in that meeting with Halperin, Papadopoulos, Carter Page, and Clovis, that's when, Papadopoulos said that Halperin kept asking him, hey, what's going on? Do you know anything about these emails? Trying to gather some type of information on what happened with those emails. Because inevitably the FBI were trying to point and pinpoint, trying to pinpoint Papadopoulos as the culprit behind these emails. But in actuality, he wasn't. Papadopoulos was being recruited by Joseph Mifsud to be put in this predicament that he found himself in. Because what Halperin did after this meeting was basically tell the FBI everything that he knew, And given the fact that Papadopoulos had told Clovis and had told everybody within that circle that he had this connection with a professor that had dirt on Hillary Clinton. Now, I don't know if y'all remember that infamous photo with Donald Trump, and they're at a round table with Donald Trump at one end. We have Jeff Sessions at another end, and Papadopoulos is there at the table. Well, Papadopoulos said that there at that particular meeting, he brought up the idea of a potential meeting with Putin and Trump. And he said, and he even said this during the interview with Stephanopoulos, he said that the president wasn't very interested in it. As a matter of fact, most of the advisors around that table were not very interested in it because that's what Joseph Mifsud was trying to connect, was trying to set up. And because Papadopoulos thought that Mifsud had this close connection to the Kremlin, that he thought that he was actually doing something good by trying to hook up a private meeting with Putin and the president, or not the then presidential candidate Trump, because all Papadopoulos was doing was trying to show how connected he was, and how he should be a little bit further in the hierarchy in the campaign, etc. Now, remember that Jeff Sessions was also in that round table. Now, Papadopoulos said that the only one that was actually somewhat ecstatic about a potential meeting between Trump and Putin, out of everybody in that table, go look for that photograph if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's got Papadopoulos, it's got Trump, it's got Sessions at that table. It's the only photo with Papadopoulos and Trump in it. And Papadopoulos said that Trump was not interested in the meeting. Most of the people weren't interested in the meeting, but the one that was ecstatic and told Papadopoulos to keep trying was Jeff Sessions. Jeff fucking Sessions. Now, this is in complete contradiction to his testimony that he gave to Congress. Because according to Jeff Sessions claims that when Papadopoulos told him about him trying to hook up a meeting with Trump, that he discouraged it. He said no. He said that he didn't want to have anything to do with it. And Papadopoulos is saying that's bullshit. That everyone at that round table was pretty much melancholy and kind of negative on the idea of allowing a presidential candidate Trump meet with Putin, except for goddamn Jeff Sessions. Now, the reason I bring this up, folks, is because no one can explain why Jeff Sessions recused himself from the Russia-Trump investigation. No one knows why Jeff Sessions is allowing the criminalistic and corrupt activity that's happening at the DOJ continue to happen. No one can explain why Jeff Sessions isn't going after the culprits in the FBI who broke the law, etc. And I think it has something to do with the fact, if you want my opinion, if you take a look at everything that I've just told you here, it seems to me, like I've always said, that Russia was at the bottom in conjunction with the UK and the Obama administration with the FBI and other black operative agencies in an attempt to create this grand scheme into putting or setting up these characters so that Donald Trump can be implicated in a Russia-Trump collusion situation so he can be removed from office. Because I'm going to be honest with you folks, this Professor Joseph Mifsud, I'm sure everybody would like to know what he has to say, but unfortunately, according to his lawyer, they claim that he has been killed and they can't find his body. They don't know where he is. So Professor Joseph Mifsud, the guy who initially met Papadopoulos and hooked the whole Russia-Trump thing up with Papadopoulos, this guy is no longer with us. And remember, supposedly he had connections to the intelligence agencies of Russia. So he's no longer with us because he could give us all the testimony in the world and let us know, hey, who was it that forced you on Papadopoulos? And I believe it was the Russian intelligence. I believe it was. in conjunction with the FBI? Why the hell was that Halperin idiot, the FBI informant, encouraging Clovis to hire Papadopoulos for Russia? And how come Halperin was wanting to meet Carter Page, was wanting to meet Papadopoulos and Clovis at this hotel? And Papadopoulos said all Halperin was asking Papadopoulos is, what about those emails? What about this? What about that? I mean, there was definite incrimination that was attempted here. They were trying to set up everybody. And if you want my opinion, folks, I think that it was in conjunction with Russia, the UK, and elements of the FBI and other black operative wings of the United States government. And this is why the president, if you want my opinion, is going to wait to see whether or not these people are going to continue on and force themselves into an error, because the president, I'm talking President Trump, has threatened to release the FBI files on Papadopoulos and on Carter Page. And this is going to shed light on what exactly happened. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, I think that Papadopoulos was being used and had been used, and they were trying to get Papadopoulos to get Trump into a precarious situation so that if Trump won the White House, they could justify impeaching him because of a Russia-Trump collusion. And they can't find one, folks, because there was none. And the deeper you look, you start realizing that, wait a minute, maybe it was Russia that set up. Because lest we forget, look at that one Russian dumb lawyer cunt that set up Donnie Jr. in the Trump at Trump Towers. You remember that? That broad was directly connected to the Kremlin, yet she was able to stand and sit behind the Russian ambassador. I'm talking the U.S. Russian ambassador during testimonies in very private committee meetings. There's pictures of this Russian, I even forgot her stupid Ruski name, but this Russian lawyer that set up Donnie Jr., she was always sitting in back of America's Russian ambassador during committee meetings. How was she able to get into Capitol Hill if she's supposedly a Russian spy? How is she able to sit next to the Russian ambassador if she is a Russian spy? She isn't. Do you understand? I have said this ever since 2016. Russia is at the bottom of all this crap. That's why these Russians are trying to get rid of all their Russian assets in Russia. You know, you're hearing about all these weird poisonings that are happening to ex-Russian agents that are over there in the UK happening. Why do you think that's happening? I mean, lest we forget, this whole Russian dossier was created by an ex-MI6 UK intelligence agent named Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele, when he was MI6 UK intelligence, his specialty was Russia. Do you understand how all these connections are starting to come together, with Russia colluding with the UK, colluding with the Obama administration and elements of the FBI and the DOJ in an attempt to truly affect an election? Folks, this is serious business, man. This is serious goddamn business. Anyway, we're already 10 minutes into the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internet and throughout the world, let them know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now. Type in your browsers, add to your bookmarks, add to your favorites the following: ghost.report. All right, that's all you got to type in your browser. That's it. It's as simple as that. Ghost.report. Add that to your bookmarks. Add that to your favorites. And once again, if you have not done so, please follow me on my only social media representation on the internet today, and that's on Gab, folks. Gab, the only last bastion freedom of speech and social media today. And if you don't have an account, well, go get yourself one. Go get yourself a free one, for Christ's sake. All right, gab.ai is the official website. And once you do, follow me on Gab under the name Politics Ghost. All right? All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. And I want to say what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room, man. What's going on to everybody out there, baby? How you doing? If you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, folks, it's as simple as this. And by the way, everybody who is subscribed to the True Capitalist Radio chat room is going to get a newsletter. I'm getting and I'm starting to accumulate those that want to receive them. They're hooking me up with their addresses. We're going to put those addresses in physical file form so they're not on the internets or anything of that capacity. And we are going to be sending a monthly newsletter to everybody who subscribes to the True Capitalist Radio chat room, baby. I mean, come on! You can't get any better than that! So what are you doing? Come on down! Subscribe to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. Go to my Gab right now. Go to my Gab, check out my Gab, and click on the button that says subscribe for premium content, all right? Click the button that says subscribe for premium content, and once you do, private message me on Gab. Private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, because that's where we have our chat. Discord chat name, and I will private message you back. A private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that simple. And let me go ahead and give some shout-outs to peeps in here, man, that are chilling with me, that are hearing some of the straight political dope. What's going on to the God of Rage? What's going on to Tesla Cyberheart, Stagio, Prince in the house, Metaform, Man Bear Pig, Insane Energy, Ice Cap in the house, Herb Capitalist, sorry, I don't know why I was squeaking there, for Christ's sake. My voice loses on and off. I do the show so many damn times, it's ridiculous. We got Hans Uberlander, we got Great Gains, we got Distilling in the house, Australian Capitalist, Aesthetic in the house. What's going on? What's going on to Curly McWhirly and everybody else who's listening into the True Capitalist Radio broadcast? I really appreciate your patronage. Anyway, once again, folks, closing out on the George Papadopoulos situation, it's obvious that the Russians, in correlation with the UK, in correlation with the FBI, the DOJ, and possibly the Obama administration, were all working in tangent in an attempt to try to put Trump, his campaign, his family, in a precarious situation so that they could have an insurance policy, just like Peter Strzok said to Lisa Page. Remember that? So they could have an insurance policy to remove Trump from office once he was elected. Once he was elected president, all right? Anyway, let me move on, folks. Let's talk a little bit about some international relations here. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Pakistan, all right? Now, what did I tell you? Last week, Pakistan got a visit from the Secretary of State Pompeo, and lest we forget that he was with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and he was there meeting with the head of the Pakistani military and, of course, the new Prime Minister, Imran Khan. Now, what did I tell you that this visit was all about? This visit was to neutralize China. Do y'all remember me telling you that last week? And y'all remember me telling you that Pompeo said that this is a new reset in relations and that Pakistan and the United States are now once again, talking again, discussing foreign policy again, etc. And I said the reason we're doing this, the reason the United States is doing this is because we're trying to neutralize China. Now, during times of crisis, historically, Pakistan usually gravitates to China. But this is a very new day and age. Because for whatever reason, the Chinese just are literally groveling to the Indians from India. And you can't blame them because India is a nuclear power. They do have over 1 billion people. They could pretty much match whatever army that the Chinese have. So this is why the Chinese are trying to play nice with India. But if you're going to be playing nice with India, Pakistan ain't going to like that. Pakistan has had 3 wars with India over the disputed area of Kashmir. So as a result, I'm sure whatever was said during the meeting in the Pakistani meeting with Pompeo, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, and the head of the military of Pakistan, whatever it was, it resonated into action, folks. Did you hear about this? Did you all hear about this? Let me tell you, on top of the fact that our president, Donald Trump, is threatening China with going, quote, all in when it comes to these tariffs, take a look at what Pakistan announced today. Pakistan's Abdul Razak Dawood, Pakistani cabinet member for commerce, industry, and investment, suggests that all $57 billion in projects from the China-Pakistan economic corridor could be eligible for suspension in a review to be conducted this week under the orders of the new Prime Minister, Imran Khan. Woo! That's how we play hardball, baby! What did I tell you about? This is the new foreign policy of the Donald Trump administration. Look at that. How you like that, China? How do you like that? 1 week after the Secretary of State Pompeo and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs kicks it in Pakistan and talks to the PM and the General of the military, now you've got economic moves that Pakistan is making against China, baby. And how do you think China's going to react to this? Huh? How do you think China's going to... Oh, you motherfucker, I thought we were friends, motherfucker. 57 billion. Yeah, we need ourselves to 57 billion, motherfucker. Oh, my God. I told you all, folks, that this is the new foreign policy. I mean, I knew when Pompeo was over there with the Joint Chiefs, or the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, I knew that Pakistan was going to do something to China, and here it is, folks. What did I tell you? The United States' new foreign policy in Asia is to neutralize China and Russia. Unbelievable. I'm loving this. I'm telling you, this is how you get shit done in international relations. I have to say, Secretary of State Pompeo, this guy is probably one of the best Secretary of States that I've seen in my entire life. I'm not even kidding, man. Unbelievable. 1 week after he sits down with the Pakistanis, they're going to cut $57 billion worth of China-Pakistani economic corridor projects, and they didn't even give a reason why. The only reason that they're giving, folks, is that, hey, why are we spending $57 billion to China to build projects in Pakistan when we can give that to our own Pakistanis? When we can hire our own Pakistanis. Doesn't that sound familiar? Huh? You don't think that Pompeo resonated with those fucking Pakistanis that, hey, why are you giving China this $57 billion? Why don't you spread the wealth in your own country? As a matter of fact, Pakistan is on a very precarious situation with its own currency. It's also on the verge of a potential currency crash. Its cash reserves are down to nothing. And if you want my opinion, this is a double-edged sword, or actually a win-win, I should say, for Pakistan, because not only does it put pressure on the Chinese, but it also gives the ability of the economy to grow itself without having to spend to a third party, in this case China, to develop these infrastructure projects. What did I tell you, folks? What did I tell you? I mean, I'm telling you, I know international relations, baby, all right? Ghost knows international relations, and you should know this by now, man. Now, what does this mean? Why are we doing this? Why is Pakistan doing this? Because, folks, we are having a new foreign policy objective when it not only comes to Pakistan, but also Afghanistan. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Afghanistan as well. Now, for you folks that are unfamiliar, I mean, the Taliban, and I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks, we, as far as the United States military contingent in Afghanistan, are basically putting our hands up and allowing the interim government of Afghanistan to basically fight for its own survival. Because the only reason that the Afghan government is even legitimate is because United States forces are propping it up and are saving it from Taliban onslaught. And I don't know how many years we've been training these Pakistanis, man. I don't know how many, these Talibanis or these Afghans. You know what I mean? I don't know how many years we've been training these Afghans, I should say. But I'm going to be completely honest with you, folks. It's about time, at this point, we went into Afghanistan in, 2002? I mean, it's about time that we finally tell this Afghanistan government that you need to fight on your own. And this is why we have a new approach to the Taliban. We're not submitting to the Taliban in any regard. We are opening up diplomatic relations with the Taliban and are allowing and open to the Taliban to be a part of the government or to take control of the government itself. But, of course, the United States is not going to give the government to the Taliban. The Taliban has got to figure out how it's going to integrate itself with the government. Whether there's going to be a peace talk between the Afghan government and the Taliban, or if the Taliban is just going to completely wipe out the government itself. And the United States at this point, you notice, we're not doing much over here. We're not protecting the Afghan government. Here recently, most recent attack, I mean, there's been attacks every day in Afghanistan. The most recent attacks by the Taliban, killing dozens of Afghan soldiers and police. So as you can see, folks, the Taliban's target is strictly state officials, whether it's Afghan soldiers or Afghan police officers. And the reason they're targeting them specifically is because, well, let's be honest, the Afghan soldiers and police officers are supposed to be instilling some level of civility so that life in Afghanistan can be livable. But unfortunately, they can't fend off or prevent or stop or combat all these guerrilla tactics that are happening with the Taliban. And once again, this is consistent with the U.S. new policy for Afghanistan, man. And why are we trying to be open to the Taliban? And I've said this last week, I've said it 1,000 times. The reason is, folks, is because the Taliban, they all come from Pakistan. I mean, that's where the Taliban came from. They all came from Pakistan. They came from the madrasas. They are Islamic students. I mean, that's what the Taliban means. It means Muslim student. And these people are fundamentalists, and they come from Pakistan. And lest we forget, folks, I've been telling you this forever, that these Islamic Jihadi assets are United States black operative assets. I mean, we created this Islamic Jihadi idea. I mean, this was during the days of the late 70s Afghan-Russia war, remember? The Mujahideen. Remember the Mujahideen? We were the ones that funded them. We were the ones that trained them. So they're our assets. Now, lest we forget that the Bush administration, actually beginning with the Clinton administration, but continued with the Bush administration, then continued with the Obama administration, the black operative organizations of our government were utilizing these Jihadi assets against the United States. Now, I don't want to get into a whole debate on why they were using it against the United States, but obviously they were trying to have the mass populace of the United States accept a long-term warfare objective of the war of civilizations. And that's what's happening right now, folks. Now, thank God we have Donald Trump in office, who is cutting off these people's globalist plans at the past. And thank God he's in control of most of the black operations that are a part of the government mechanism of the United States, because now we're seeing the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. We're starting to see all these different organizations pop up elsewhere outside of the traditional areas in which they were conducting their terrorism during the Obama administration. We're starting to see ISIS fighters conduct themselves in terrorist operations in Chechnya. We're starting to see ISIS operatives and Al-Qaeda operatives in Afghanistan, which is unprecedented. We're starting to see things, there's a readjustment. And I'm telling you, our new foreign policy in utilizing these jihadist assets is to basically sick them on our foes. And that's why we're having an open dialogue or an open diplomatic channel with the Taliban. That's why you have Pakistan now talking, a little bit of tariff war and some renegotiation of trade deals with China. And believe me, I know that's shocking China. I mean, Pakistan cutting $57 billion worth of projects from the China-Pakistan economic corridor. I mean, that's going to hurt on top of the tariffs of the United States. I don't know how China's going to continue to make money. It's going to have to either bow down or go to war. Either way, we're ready, baby. Either way, we're ready. And look, we're going to have the Taliban, believe it or not. Give it about 6 months or a year. You're going to have the Taliban, once it takes control, if not of all, but at least portions of Afghanistan, it's going to start focusing its attention, its terrorist attention, on China. Now, why are the Taliban, why are ISIS fighters that are in Afghanistan, why are Al-Qaeda, ISIS, why are they all going to focus on China, folks? Because China, once again, continues its crackdown on the Muslim minority, the Uyghurs. Y'all remember the Uyghurs? I'm not joking, folks. That's what this is. That's what you call them. That's the Muslim minority of China, the Uyghurs. Now, I don't know if you've been seeing all the media hype around China's persecution of the Uyghurs, especially on pro-Muslim media outlets like Al Jazeera. I mean, every single day, Al Jazeera is shitting out a new report or a new video piece in which they are emphasizing China's crackdown, persecution, and all-out oppression. I mean, physical oppression of the Muslim minority. Now, from what I understand, folks, China is forcing its Muslim minority to drink Jack Daniels and to eat pork and things of that nature, and threatening to tear down mosques, putting these Muslim minority groups, the Uyghurs, into re-education camps. Lots of things being alleged out here, and believe me, that is being absorbed in the minds of a lot of these Yehudis. And all China needs to do is tear down one of those ancient mosques or kill a massive amount of Uyghurs. And I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing massive Islamic attacks on Chinese and Chinese interests. I'm telling you, and this is our new foreign policy, baby, because why? We need to suppress China. China thinks that it's going to be the new superpower come 2025. I mean, just Google up China 2025 and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Us as Americans, we can't allow this totalitarian freak show of a damn country to bring in the world into globalization, because, folks, the current globalists, the leaders of the current globalist system, they want the Chinese model as the model for the world. They want this totalitarian model as the model for the world, for Christ's sake, man. Now, aside from China continuing to crack down on its Muslim minority, the Uyghurs, it's also cracking down, folks, on Jesus. That's right, folks. It's not just the Muslim minority that's being persecuted out there in China. Now China is persecuting anybody who's down with Jesus. I mean, China's now burning Bibles, they're closing churches, and forcing Christians to denounce their own faith. Now, why is this? Because China knows that it's in a very precarious part in its history. They know that, hey, I think we done goofed. We thought we were going to be a bunch of rich chinks out here until the end of time, but then Donald Trump came into office and renegotiated trade deals, and now we got a bunch of tariffs, and a bunch of money that we were anticipating on an annual basis ain't coming in anymore, so we got to crack down on people's freedoms. That's exactly what China is thinking. They're cracking down on people's freedoms because they know there is a pending economic contraction that's going to happen in China that's probably going to kill millions of people. And, you know, I hate to say this, but I think the Chinese government wants that. I think the Chinese government wants a good purging of the population that it deems unuseful. And they're going to utilize this means of tariffs and, you know, whatever. All this economic so-called warfare that's going on, it's going to use that. China's going to use that as a means of killing millions of its own people. You know? Millions of its own people. So anyway, once again, folks, China not only cracking down on the Muslims, the Uyghurs, they're also cracking down on Christians. If you happen to be down with Jesus, you're going to be persecuted by the Chinese government. They're burning Bibles, they're closing churches, they're forcing Christians to denounce their faith. But there is good news, folks. The president is not just allowing this to happen and turning a blind eye to it. Aside from the all-in on tariffs economically, the president is now considering sanctions against China over these religious persecutions. Oh! That's right, China! I told you, you paper tiger! I told you! You're goddamn right! The president is now considering sanctions against China over their religious persecution. Oh, this is just so great. This is great, for Christ's sake, man. Like I said, I love a president with balls and literally going to show the world that America's got balls the size of grapefruits, and we'll slap them upside your chin if you try to flex nuts to us. You're goddamn right. We're not the pussy whip country we were when Barack Obama was around. You remember that? We were treated like third-rate bitches when goddamn Barack Obama was the head of our state, for Christ's sake. And thank God Barack Obama's no longer the president. Thank God. We were treated like a bunch of soy boys getting our asses bitched around by a bunch of chads. That's the way it was back when Barack Obama was the president of this damn country, for Christ's sake. Give me my water. But I'm telling you, China, you think that you're going to be able to do some stuff? You're going to think that you're going to be able to lead globalism in 2025? It ain't going to happen, China. We're going to stop your ass. We're already stopping your ass. All right? We're blindfolding you economically with dental floss, and all you can do is go, oh. That's it! That's it. So go fucking eat a bad egg roll and shut up. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let me get to the last subject matter of the evening today on this Monday. What is it? September 10th, 2018, episode 615. Did y'all hear that Russia, Iran, and Bashar al-Assad's Syrian forces are getting ready to prepare for an all-out assault on the Idlib province? Now, prior to them going in this all-out assault in the Syria's Idlib province, there has already been 30,000 displaced refugees as a result from this Russia-Iran-Syrian bombardment of Idlib. Now, you're starting to hear Idlib a lot in the media as it relates to international relations because we're at that fine line again. Remember the one that Barack Obama, remember he said, I'm going to draw a line in the sand, Russia, and if you cross it, you're going to get it. And Russia and everybody crossed it, and Obama didn't do a fucking thing. This is a little different, okay? This is a little bit different of a situation, okay? Because the United States is actually going to take a lackadaisical approach if Russia, Iran, and Syria decide to go in and prepare and actually fulfill an all-out assault on the Idlib province. Now, why do I suggest that the president and the administration are going to kind of just sit there and watch what happens, even if it's going to mean the slaughtering of more tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of people? Because if you want my opinion, folks, we as the United States foreign policy makers are trying to lure, for a lack of a better term, Russia into this quagmire in Syria. Now, what's going to happen? What am I suggesting here? What I'm suggesting is that when Russia and Iran especially, when they go in, and they've already displaced 30,000 people in the Idlib province, when they go in and massacre all these people, you don't think that some of these Yehudis, especially the ones that are a part of the United States Black Operations contingent, you don't think that this is going to rile up the Islamic community? You don't think that Islam is going to rise up and say, hey, Russia, hey, Bashar al-Assad, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You're killing Muslims. And I'm telling you, what's going to happen is once Russia, and you see, this is what I told you about China. I told you China, it's going to see a Muslim problem here in the next few months. They're already setting up China for this, and the same thing is going to happen to Russia. And why? What's going to be the justification? Russia committing war crimes in Idlib. And it's going to be all over Al Jazeera. It's going to be all over the Arab world. And lest we forget, man, that there was a huge Arab war with the Russians during the Afghan war of the 70s. They didn't forget about that. So, in my opinion, I think Trump is trying to dare Vladimir Putin to come along, aid the Iran and Bashar al-Assad bombardment of Idlib so that Russia becomes an Islamic target of terrorism, which it already is beginning to. I mean, we heard at the end of August that there was a bombing in Chechnya of all places, that killed, was it 2 or 3 Chechnyan police, and ISIS took credit for it. In Chechnya! That's just the beginning, folks. That's just the beginning. Just wait until Russia, Iran, and Syria cause these atrocities in the Idlib province. You're going to start seeing the venting of Muslim frustration right at the head of these mouth-breathing, cockeyed Ruskies. And then they're going to have to deal with their own Muslim problem. All right, I'm telling you, this is how foreign policy works, folks. And by the way, not to get off the subject, but sticking with Russia, for all you white nationalists and all you alt-righters that love fucking Putin for whatever reason and think that he's a damn Russian nationalist, what kind of a Russian nationalist goes after the pensions of old people? And look, I get why you would do it, but they're the only ones that support Putin. The youth hates Putin. I mean, folks, all Vladimir Putin has been doing for the past 6 months is jailing people that are in opposition to his rule. And most of them are young people. Well, folks, yesterday, Vladimir Putin had to arrest up to 800 people. Yeah. Vladimir Putin yesterday arrested over 800 people that were protesting against Vladimir Putin cutting the pensions. Because lest we forget, remember, Vladimir Putin is trying to run Russia like some totalitarian communist dictator, and he ran out all the U.S. business out of Russia, and now that Russia's got sanctions against it and they're not doing business with the United States, it's finding itself in a weird situation, and it needs to save money. And, of course, Putin, because there's really not much left to save in Russia, went right after the pensions of his own Russian population. And you know what? They went out and protested this son of a bitch. They protested him. And you want to know why they protested him, folks? Because they're looking, right? They're looking at Putin and they're asking, why are you cutting our pensions when you stole over $150 billion with a B? Vladimir Putin stole over $150 billion from the Russian oligarchs that he kicked out of his country. He fucking stole it like a fucking filthy communist. It's in his bank account right now. Look it up. Look up how much Vladimir Putin is worth. He's worth over $150 billion. And he didn't earn that. He never earned it. He never worked in his life. He's a lifelong bureaucrat. How did he get $150 billion? He fucking stole it! That's why his people hate him. His people aren't stupid. This is not some man of the people out here, old goddamn Vladimir Putin. This isn't some fucking Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi over here who is putting his parents in tents in the desert before everybody else had a damn house. This isn't some pious guy out there in Russia. This guy is a stingy, disgusting, despicable communist that'll take instead of trying to earn. That's all communists know how to do. Why do you think all these leftists, all these socialists, all these communists, how come the first thing that comes out of their mouths is give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that, and if you don't give it to me, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it from the productive, even though I'm unproductive. I'm going to take it. That's what communists and socialists do. That's why they're a fucking disease. That's why, and the only good communists and socialists are dead communists and socialists. They are a fucking disease, folks. They're a goddamn disease, and I don't know how many more fucking examples. How many more examples do you have to see over and over and over and over again? How many examples do we have to continue to see in which communism and socialism has been proven an equal distributor of misery, not utopia, an equal distributor of poverty? How many more times do you have to see it before you stupid morons realize that it's unsustainable? It's unsustainable to give unproductive people all the shit they want. It's unsustainable. And not only that, where's the morality, huh? Because most of these leftists like to get on a soapbox and claim that they're more virtuous than you. They're more moral than you. Where's the morality when you as the state are forcing the productive to pay taxes so that they can support the unproductive? How is that fair? How is that moral? How is that moral when you as the state force the productive? You force the productive to take care of the unproductive. And then what? The unproductive have the same vote as the productive? Bullshit! Bullshit, man! This is why we need fucking voter reform in America. This is why we need voter reform in America, for Christ's sake. And the exclusive party that should be able to vote is the capitalists. If you work for a living, if you pay taxes, you should be exclusive to vote. How does the unproductive that produces nothing for this country other than turning perfectly good food into shit, How do they get the equivalent vote as those that are producing for this country? It doesn't make sense. There's no morality. There's no virtue signaling there. It's a fucking fraud.
Oh, Ghost, we gotta take your money so that people can have their fair share, Ghost. They gotta have their fair share.
What the fuck you talking about, fair share? They didn't do shit. They're not producing shit. They're just taking shit. That's all they're doing. They're turning perfectly good food into shit. That's all they're doing. Stupid fucking leftists, for Christ's sake. Let me tell you, I'm done with talking about all this fucking international shit, so I'm gonna use the last remaining time for this. Let me tell you something. You scumbags! Anybody who's in America that claims that, oh, I'm po in America. I'm po in America. I need more EBT. I need more food stamps. I need more this. I need more that. Fuck you! Fuck you and your unproductive ass! You should not have the same equivalent vote as a capitalist. Why, you ask? Because, folks, the capitalists and their tax money, we fund these little people in government. The capitalists fund these little people in government. So that should mean we, the capitalists, should have a vote that supersedes the unproductive, that doesn't do anything for our society. They shouldn't get what they want. They get what they fucking get. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these idiots trying to sit here and act like they have some kind of goddamn moral soapbox to stand on. Because, oh, look at you. You got 2 bags. You got 2 bags. This poor person has no bags. Why don't you give that poor person one of those bags? Why don't you go tell that fucking poor person to get a fucking job? Jesus Christ, man. No wonder most people in the world hate America. You know that? Ungrateful people in America. Did you know that 60% of the fucking world lives on barely $2 a day, you dumbasses? And you dumbasses in America are out here pissing and moaning, man, I need more for my EBT card, baby. Man, I need more for my welfare, man. I need some more for my kids, baby. My kids, you're not understanding, Ghost. I need all that money for my kids, baby. My kids, you're not understanding, baby. My kids. Fuck you and fuck your kids. Jesus Christ. You know, like my ass bleeds for the po in America, okay? My ass bleeds for the po in America. Fucking sick, man. Anyway, look, I'm done with this shit. I'm done. Stick a fucking fork in me. I'm done with this goddamn show. And by the way, before I get off, I want to talk about something here. And I don't mean to get off subject here, but I did hear that Mr. Meadowcore did respond. And unfortunately, he didn't really have to respond or anything. I just find it a little pathetic that, Mr. Meadowcore here can get $5-6 grand a month in a Patreon when, he doesn't do shit. But I'm happy to report that Mr. Meadowcore, said that, hey, he's a fan of the show, that Ghost is great, and that, he's a fan, etc. So, I'm glad he said it. I feel better now. Thank you, Meadowcore. I appreciate it. That's all I'm asking. That's all I fucking want. I've been here for 10 fucking years. 10 fucking years. Giving my heart, my soul, for Christ's sake, man. I've been giving you the straight political dope, for Christ's sake. I get up here all the time, filled with piss and fury, letting you all know what's going on here in the world. The truth! The fucking truth! That's what I say on this broadcast. So thank God somebody out there, all right? somebody out there finally gave some acknowledgement to old Ghost over here. I appreciate that, Metalcore. I still don't think you're worth fucking $5,000 a month, but I appreciate it, all right? I appreciate it. Anyway, and fuck you, Microchip, you stupid dumb faggot. That's another thing. Fuck you, Microchip. You are a subversive, closet socialist faggot. So fuck you, Microchip. And if y'all don't know who Microchip is, he's the asshole that's claiming he's QAnon now. And by the way, the guy we doxed as QAnon is now pissed off that Microchip is claiming he's QAnon when Nemo's over there is saying, no, you're not, you fucking liar. So who cares who QAnon is? Everybody who fell for QAnon, I'm telling you, should be repeatedly beaten the fucking ass and in the balls with an Acme brick so you can be permanently castrated. Anyway, folks, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm about 9 minutes early, so I'll be here Wednesday, once again, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time. Of course, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, it is ghost.report. All right? Make sure to spread that website throughout the internet and throughout the world, baby, because we independent now. You understand? And if you're listening to the sound of my voice, then you are listening to the political underground. I guarantee it, boy. I mean, why do you think that yours truly was the first one to get banned? I got banned from MySpace for life back in 2008. I've been banned from Twitter. I've been banned from every social media. I've been banned from monetization. I've been banned from transaction companies. Why? Because I am a right-wing capitalist broadcast, and I say the unadulterated truth, and they don't want everybody out there who's listening to know the truth. They want everybody to continue to believe this liberal lie. They want everybody to believe this garbage that they're selling on the television, and they want everybody to keep living that as opposed to thinking like a common-sense individual. Anyway, folks, thank you all for tuning in with me, for Christ's sake. Let me give one more shout-out to the peeps that are in the chat room, man. I'm going to be in the chat room here in about 25, 30 minutes, so I hope that you're in here with me. What's going on to Aquilian? What's going on to Australian Capitalist? Boat in the house. How you doing, man? Capitalist America Distilling in the house. Hans Uberlander, Herb Capitalist, Hoodie in the place. Ice Cap in the house. Insane Energy in the place. Man Bear Pig. We got Metaform. We got Prince. Stagio in the place. Tesla Cyberheart and the God of Rage. Thank you all for listening. And by the way, I will be in the True Capitalist Radio chat room here in about 25 minutes, all right? So if you want to kick it with us, if you want to be in the chat room, then don't just sit there on your thumbs. Do the following, all right? Do the following. All you got to do is go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost, and click the subscribe button for premium content. And once you do, private message me on Gab, and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will reply back in the private message with a private link to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. All right? All right. Now, I'm glad. We got 5 minutes left. I'm glad I'm going to leave with 5 minutes available. All right? I'm going to kick back for a little bit. I'm going to, probably get something to eat, do some things, and I will be in the True Capitalist Radio chat room, man. And thank you guys for being in here. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. And by the way, like I said, people are like, I can't believe Ghost said, hey, thanks Metalcore. That's all I ask. I just want some fucking appreciation. I don't give a shit if fucking Metalcore's making $5-6 grand. I just want some fucking appreciation around here. I just want some fucking appreciation. I've been doing this show for 10 fucking years. I put my freedom on the line for my political persuasion. I just want some fucking appreciation. That's all I'm asking for. So thank you, Medicare. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Even though I think you're an overrated prick. Thank you. Anyway, and by the way, folks, if you like what you're hearing on this broadcast, the only way that we're going to be able to support controversial right-wing capitalist broadcasts like this is going to be one day exclusively through cryptocurrency. So if you appreciate the content, folks, take a look on Ghost.report and click the cryptocurrency wishing well, folks. And by the way, thank you guys for whoever's throwing in the cryptocurrency wishing well, man. May all your dreams come true. You rock. I appreciate it. Cheers to you guys. You guys fucking rock, man. Anyway, I am out of here. I'm going to be here Wednesday once again, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, check out Ghost.market while you're at it. Ghost.market, the best apparel out here for politics. Anyway, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'll be in the chat room in 25 minutes. I'm getting the hell out of here. I got 4 minutes left, so good. I'm out. I'm out of here. I'm out. I'll be here Wednesday. Long live the capitalist army, baby. And death to feminism. Death to socialism. And death to communism. You're goddamn right, baby. Capitalism to the soul, till the bullet hole. I'm out of here. You better be here Wednesday, because I sure as hell am. I'm out of here. Woo!